the journey that the fighters will make as they come in through those big double doors from that beautifully clean courtyard. Then you turn into the main building itself. It's basically like a big church with the stained glass and the wood panelling. It's got quite a kind of solemn, cerebral vibe to it, to be honest. Certainly not the sort of place where you should really find yourself hoofing tables around, although you never know what can happen at these press conferences. Next to me, I've got Carl Frampton, Johnny Nelson and Matt Macklin. And just a word about this place. Carl, you first. It's the first time we've seen you this week. When you walked in here, I think you had a look at it and just thought, okay, yeah, this isn't where we normally come.
Different, yeah. It's a lovely building, beautiful building, really. And like you said, it's not the normal place for a boxing press conference, but this is what the Saudis do, isn't it? They do things differently. And to be honest, I like it. It's better than the normal hotels we're doing them in.
And Johnny, what do you think we will see today? Because we've been at this a few days this week already. We're speaking to the fighters plenty. Generally speaking, as the days tick by, people can tend to get a little bit less communicative. AJ's been like that the last few fight weeks, but he's been a bit different this week. He's been more relaxed, I think, than we've seen him in Saudi Arabia. I think it's fair to say we don't expect anyone to really invest too much emotional energy in this.
Andy, I think everybody's got all excited about the last two. These two sat down and had an encounter. Daniel said something as far as AJ was concerned, a little disrespectful. He jumped up and talked about smashing the chair across his face. I don't think we'll see anything like that. I think both fighters will be as respectful as possible to each other until the other says something that makes them feel as though they've been disrespected. I think Frank will probably do most of the talking for Daniel. Daniel's good with one-liners, but for back and forth banter, unless he's been really wound up, I can't see it. AJ's the kind of guy that'll just respond to disrespect. He'll say and give as little as possible. These guys have got the last chance to sit down and actually verbally say something to each other until tomorrow. When the weight's done, that's it. So they don't have to talk to each other. They can try and eye each other down. They can try and intimidate each other. That's done. So if you've got anything to say to try and set the seed of doubt in your opponent's head, today's the day. I just don't think either of them know I think they both know, but they don't have to do that. Daniel might. He wants to play devil's advocate, knows he gets under AJ's skin. And I just can't see AJ instigating anything like that.
And Matt, a story that's been kind of swirling around since last night has been around the absence of Don Charles so far. I heard rumours abounding that they'd split and there was problems in the camp and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really spend too much time considering that because it seems so unlikely. But one thing we are hearing is that possibly he's not well done and that he's got a cold and that he's having to stay away until as late as possible, because you'd imagine that normally he would be here today. If we don't see him here today, then we'll know that, there really is something up with him. And that's, it's not ideal, is it, to have to keep your distance during fight week?
No, it's not ideal, but what other choice have you got? If you're bunged up with a head cold, you don't want to be around your fighter and pass it on to him, a couple of days before the fight. In the changing room a couple of hours before the fight, it probably doesn't matter at that point. You know what I mean? He might be sick on Sunday morning, but it's irrelevant then. The job's done, hopefully, or it's, you've lost, whatever, but the results are, we know the result at that point. So, look, I think it'd be nice if Don Charles was around him from a emotional support, psychological support type of thing, but the work's done. It's not going to change the fight. It's not going to change the game plan tactics now. It's just, it's the smart thing to do, isn't it? So, and quite an unselfish thing. Some trainers might want the ego of being around all this, so fair play to Don Charles for stepping out of that.
Carl, Daniel probably better than us three because you see him more than us. You've been around him more than us. What have you made of the change in him since the Jarrell Miller win, then followed by the Hrgovic win, the move to basically bring his dad officially into the corner? He was a nominated second, wasn't he, last time? And the partnership with Don Charles, that whole kind of evolution, I guess.
The last couple of fights, he's really went high up in my estimations as what he's like as a fighter. I was one of the kind of outspoken pundits who criticised him a little bit against Joyce, a little bit even against Usyk and how the fight finished at the end. But talking about coming through adversity, the Jarrell Miller fight, he is a big man, and Daniel was tired in that fight and he just bit down in the gum shield and got the job done in the last round. Hrgovic, he took a lot of leather. was eating shots for fun at a point, and he ended up eventually stunning him. He had a horrible cut and stuff. So I think Daniel Dubois from them 2 fights gives him a better chance going into this fight against AJ. The run of form he's on is better than AJ's if you look at AJ's last 2 opponents. So it gives him a greater chance, but I would still say he's an underdog in this fight.
Okay, well, you mentioned their recent performances, and let's just have a look at the Ring Magazine rankings there. Usyk and Fury top 2. I wouldn't argue with that. I think there's an argument. We saw Joseph Parker yesterday. That's pretty close between Joshua and Parker at 3 and 4. When you look at recent wins, Zhilei Agit Kabayel, big wins on Riyadh season, and there's Dubois in at number 7. And as you say, off the back of recent performances, I wouldn't really argue too much with that lineup. And when you look, Johnny, at the fight itself and how we think it might go, people have been talking a lot about it's whoever lands first. I'd probably qualify that a bit and say it's whoever hurts the other one first has got a really good chance, because when you've got monstrous punches, we talk about someone getting hit and staying hit, and at heavyweight that can often be the case.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that you'll finish the fight with the next punch or even in the next round, but it could be very difficult to shake that off.
Of course, in heavyweight boxing, one punch can change absolutely everything. We saw it with Lennox Lewis and Hasim Rahman in their first fight. So if you get the shot in, it can be over, lights out. If you get the shot in, if you've not got the experience to deal with such a shock, that's when experience comes into it. And Anthony Joshua's been through that. We've seen him. I got no questions to ask of Anthony Joshua now, because he's been through the mill. We've doubted him. We've praised him. We've critiqued him, and he's answered all the questions. Looking at all the champions he's fought, the people he's lost to, he's had it. He's been battered left, right, centre, verbally by people like us. These are the questions for Daniel Dubois. What happens when Daniel Dubois gets hit and really hurt? Now, we saw it, we've seen it dipping in and out of his career, but when you get hit by somebody so hard like Anthony Joshua, it's a different kind of hit. He's taking you off your feet. My only criticism about Daniel Dubois is the fact that he's very good at remembering when he's in the ring, but he's not very good at thinking in the ring. And when you're hit and when you're hurt and things go away from game plan and you're staggered, if you can't think on your feet, think smart, think fast, think wise, you're getting turned over. I don't think he's capable of thinking in the ring. He's capable of remembering, you go out there, Dan, do this. He get down to a T. You saw his old man there ringside jeering him on to get on to what they did in the gym. I'm hearing what they're doing in the gym. He's tough. He's rugged. He'll keep going on. You've got a cheerleader him. But when you're on your own, when it gets hard and you get hurt, and you've got to think instinctively, because you know when the bell goes and the cornerman's left and everybody's shouting in the ring, instinctively the fighter knows this is what I've got to do. Everybody else is just guiding me in the right direction. So Daniel, the only criticism is of Daniel not being able to think in the ring, and that's what he's got to learn to do Saturday night.
I hear what you're saying there, but Matt, one thing I would counter that with is that fight against Kevin Lerena at Tottenham Hotspur, where he injured the leg and basically everything went wrong. He managed to find a way through that, and I was quite impressed by that at the time, because after what happened against Joyce, if ever you were going to just fold and go under, then it would have been in those kinds of circumstances, and he didn't do it.
No, but I suppose it was survival instinct, wasn't it? He was fighting on instinct in that fight. He got hurt, he was buzzed, it was hectic, wasn't it? It was a chaotic few rounds. But you're right, no matter what way you look at it, he came out on top.
And another aspect to that whole debate, Carl, is what happens to Anthony Joshua, what could happen to him if Daniel Dubois gets on top of him and rings his bell, because it's not like Usyk didn't get to him at times in those 2 fights, because he did, and he never looked like he was going to come apart. But it was a different scenario to the one against Andy Ruiz, for example, where he was hit hard and concussed and was then fighting through that fog. That's a problem for anyone. We haven't seen that happen to him again since either.
No, of course not. And I think that, you're listening to the stories about the sparring partners and the people that have sparred both guys. They all talk about Dubois' job, talk about how hard the job is. It's going to be a really important punch for him in the fight. Daniel eats too many shots, I think. I don't think he's not the most evasive boxer, but you could maybe say the same for AJ. Very good, obviously, at what he does, but he still gets tagged, and he's not the most evasive either. So It'll be interesting to see when Daniel lands, if he lands, AJ's reaction. I mean, you could just make the same argument for both guys. Nothing surprises me in this fight. I think the longer the fight goes on, though, if it gets into the second half, which I'm not expecting it to, but if it does get into the second half of the fight, I think that Dubois has a better chance.
And what about the occasion in terms of the night itself? The week is one thing, but the actual night where everything is different, because getting everywhere takes longer, getting into a stadium that size takes longer, the dressing rooms are bigger, the ring walks longer, everything is the same but extra, and 96,000 people. When we see him on the ramp ready to make the walk, Dubois, I feel like that's quite a key moment to be able to get a gauge of where he's at.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, I think people often look into stuff like that a little bit too much, and fighters react differently, and some fighters you can tell they're ready to fight by the look on their face. Some of them may be smiling on the ramp. I think each of their own, really. I think that people suddenly become part-time psycho
body language experts.
Yeah, I know, and I just think
I
people
definitely do it.
Yeah, people try and read into things like that a little bit too much. We'll see what happens when the first bell goes.
How about you two?
You first, mate.
I think everyone does that. Oh, look, everyone's you're trying to pick for something, aren't you? You're seeing things that aren't even there because you're looking that hard for it. But I think that's just how tense it is, how exciting it is. That's the anticipation, isn't it?
You just go with facts. You've got to go with facts. Say what you see. Follow your instinct, follow your gut, follow your experience. We've been in this game long enough. We've been in the ring and out the ring. Follow what your boxing brain tells you, because we're easily influenced and swayed by the general public and the wave of fans saying it should be X, Y, Z. Follow your gut, what you see and what you understand. Doing it that way, I'm not suckered in by any stories about what happened in sparring, or he's stood on in tour, or he's at X, Y, Z. When the bell goes, look at facts. We just saw a stat there of the amount of the biggest crowds in boxing. Anthony Joshua was the one name that stood out twice at top in the bill. It's actually 3 times, because he was on the undercard of Carl Froch, George Groves. So he's used to the big occasion. He's used to all of that stuff. He's a stadium fighter. So if that affects anybody, it's going to be Daniel Dubois. And no matter how cool and collected and correct he is, when you're at home and you've got near on 96,000 people at Wembley Stadium, the British fans are the best. They're the loudest. They're the most intimidating. They can lift you the most, and that is going to make a difference. Anthony Joshua, remember when he went in there against Klitschko, got put down, had to get back up again and win the fight. So he knows what it's like to turn a fight around on a big stage when the pressure's on.
And we are in the Guildhall in the middle of the City of London, one of the oldest parts of town. You just had a look around it there. That was Winston Churchill, I'm pretty sure, just in a seat there in that marble sculpture. I bet Winston loved it, didn't he, on the cobbles?
Baron Nelson right there.
I bet he was bang up for it. But let's turn to the undercard, because it is a brilliant undercard. Every undercard these days is described as stacked, but this genuinely is a stacked undercard. The one that has got people talking probably the most in terms of the reaction they've had to each other has been Hutchinson and Botti, and you're the man to speak to about that, because you were really close to it when it all got quite interesting at their face-to-face. Botti, we know well, and he's very disciplined in a professional setting, and how he explained it was that he felt that Hutchinson brought a kind of energy to a professional setting that didn't really have any place there. And had they not been in a professional setting, he would have dealt with it quite differently. How was that experience for you?
It was pretty mad, if I'm being honest. It was very intense. I like both guys, but they're completely different characters. Willie's like your little brother who likes to wind you up and annoy and prod you all the time, and Josh Botti's the more sensible, straight fella, just says things as they are. And you could tell Willie was, I don't even know if he was winding him up, but I think he was angry at the things he was saying and how he was behaving. People are saying that that's going to work into Willie Hutchinson's favour. I'm not quite sure. I listened to what Ben Shalom said recently, and he says that Joshua Botti in this state of mind, annoyed by an opponent, is a good position for him to be in, because he go and showcase what he can do in the ring and use that anger as a means of motivation. So there was big men in that room to separate it, and I'm glad there was, because I wasn't getting in the middle of them two guys.
In terms of anger, though, fighters always say that you can't really take that into the ring. So in what form can you usefully use that on the night?
Yeah, don't know. Ask Ben Shalom. He said it. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I suppose I get the point that he's saying. Maybe he'd be more aggressive. Maybe he'd be trying to hurt Willie Hutchinson. Not that you try to hurt the guy all the time at your fight. So I don't really know what I'm saying, if I'm being honest. Maybe pass it on to one of the boys, and they'll explain better than I will.
What I will say, what Johnny said about making the mind up and the hype and that. I remember Mike Costello years ago saying to me at the Hatton Mayweather fight, he said, Matt, it shocked me this week how many good people, boxing people who I respect, got swept with the hype. He said, I never make my mind up fight week. When the fight gets made, I pick who's going to win, and I don't change my mind. No matter what happens, unless something massively out of the blue happens fight week, I don't change my mind. Because everyone's in town, everyone's heard this, everyone's heard that. Your head's spinning all over the place. You could change your mind 100 times. He said, you get swept with the hype. He said, so now I just don't do it. Once the fight's made, cold, 6-8 weeks out, whatever, I break it up, I analyse it, that's who I think's going to win, and I stick with it no matter what. That's kind of what you were saying in a similar way, wasn't it?
Yeah, and in regards to Boatti and Willie Hutchinson, I think Willie, that's what he does. He gets under your skin. He was like that in the gym. He did it for fun. And does it benefit Joshua Boatti? Yes, it does, because Joshua Boatti, I think, is boxed below par in regards to the talent of the talent that he has. We've not seen it because he's always had been able to box within himself. Even when he got hit, I think he got his eye closed. He's boxed within himself. Now he's angry. And so I think he's got to channel that anger, and he thinks, I'm going to damage you. I remember Ali when he boxed, I think it was Terrell or whatever, he wanted to hurt him. I think Joshua Boatti wants to hurt Willie. And if he wants to hurt him, he's therefore going to get the job done correctly, efficiently, as sharply, and as viciously as possible. But if you sleep on Willie Hutchinson, I keep saying to everybody, do not let this kid hustle you, because he's a very, very, very good boxer. He's got a good boxing brain, but he's crazy, and he loves it. He's a good kind of crazy, because he's fearless when he's in the ring. When he's hurt, he'll do the last thing you'd expect, and if you sleep on him, he's going to pickpocket you.
I think Boatti's boxed within himself since he's gone with. I think he's been overthinking it. He's been boxing too much. I want to say a bit more spite when he was early doors. Like I said, the fight with Cacace, okay, wasn't his best boxing performance, but he had the tenacity. When he had the eye gun, he dug deep and he had a bit of aggression and he banging some hard shots in there. I think the last couple of fights, he's very safety first, boxing, just doing enough, coasting almost. I want to see
the influence of Virgil Hunter, do you think?
Maybe.
Well, what's the relation? Is he still with Virgil? He's still working with Virgil? Oh, that's good, because I think Virgil is currently one of the best boxing brains out there at the moment. If they're still working together, probably not in the capacity that Virgil wants him to, because he wanted to live, eat and breathe boxing. Virgil's a very good guy to have before.
What can happen? I know you have Brendan your whole career. I changed trainers a few times, and sometimes you leave one trainer, you go with a new trainer, and you're trying new things because you need new things. That's why you've gone there. But you're caught in between styles a little bit. Or sometimes you maybe overcompensate. You do too much this, and you lose what made you good in the first place a little bit.
Well, I suppose it's like Anthony Joshua
getting a happy
now.
medium.
Yeah, it's like Anthony. All the trainers he's been through now, Ben's getting the benefit of that. Yeah, and Ben, everyone's saying Ben is an amazing coach, but he's actually all the experiences he's got with all those coaches there. Now Ben's the one he's listened to say, right, everything you learn, put it together, and off you go. And so it's got to work with the right person.
I think he does need to release the beast a little bit, though, Boatti. I like that challenge fight for the same reasons as you did, Matt. And in the amateurs, he would stop people inside the distance if he could. If he got the chance, he did it in the Olympics. I remember him shaking up an Uzbek #1 in the Olympics and stopping him. It was his third Olympic Games. Things like that don't happen to fighters like that. I think we need to see a bit more of that. But let's move on to the super featherweight fight, Anthony Cacace against Josh Warrington. Just to clear up what's going on around the IBF title there, officially it's not on the line. You'll just see the IBO ascribed as being on the line, but the reality is that if Cacace loses, then the title becomes vacant, so it is still really on the line for him. Josh Warrington can't win it even if he wins the fight. That's just the ruling that the IBF have handed down, and the two fighters, I understand it, did know about this a while ago. We've only just really learned about it this week. Regardless, it's a really good fight. Cacace and Warrington are people you know well. You've been in with Josh, obviously. I did see a clip of you. Surely they didn't make you watch the whole thing back, did they?
No,
was it just a bit of it?
Edited highlights, yeah.
Yes, I thought so. But Cacace is someone you know as well. Shared a gym with him. And I remember before his win against Joe Cordina, you were saying to people, listen, this guy's really got a chance here.
Yeah.
He looks like he's on point and he can really punch, which is not something you would know unless you know when you look at his record. And he turned in a hell of a performance, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And you could say the exact same thing with Josh Warrington. And I've went on record to say that I've never been hit this hard in a fight in my life by anyone else other than Josh Warrington. Really big puncher, but his record doesn't suggest that. But Anto was on fire that night. I don't know. I think Anto's a really inspiring story. Like a year ago, he was delivering pizzas on an evening. You know what I mean? To try and kind of back up what he was doing in the gym in the day, and his sponsors weren't happening. He wasn't getting fights. He was fighting kind of once a year for the last 5 years previous to the Cordina fight. So he's really got the bit between his teeth now. He's getting the attention that he deserves. People in Belfast know him, whereas maybe they didn't really know him previous to that. But he won on a massive stage. He's a world champion now, and I think that in terms of form, and not even form, I just think that where Josh Warrington is, I think he's probably had one or two too many hard fights. Although he's younger than Anto. Anto's the fresher fighter. And even the hard fight, Josh Warrington's been in hard fights that he's won. And they take their toll, and they have a little bit of an effect. And I think that's probably going to be the difference.
And Matt, you could tell when we spoke to Cacace yesterday that he's not just in this kind of honeymoon period where he's won the title, he's achieved something that never looked like it was going to happen, and he's going to take his eye off the ball. He's still really hungry, you can tell.
Yeah, look, like Carl said in Saudi, you knew he was going to produce. Whether he or not he won, we don't know, but we knew he was going to produce a performance because he had that bit between his teeth. He was like a man possessed in the ring. He was just prepared to go through whatever Cordina threw at him, and he was just going to come through the fire and win. He was not going to be denied. And I don't think, having gone through that, that's a one-stop thing. He wants that to continue. Now he's seeing that as like that mountain climb. This is my breakthrough. Yeah. Now I'm starting. Now I really want to cash in. And like Carl, I think Warrington's had a lot of hard fights. Also, he's probably not really a super featherweight. He's coming up in weight. I think the timing of the fight's all wrong for Warrington, and it suits Cacace.
So, Johnny, as a Yorkshireman, can you make the case for Josh Warrington? The way I look at it, I think this run he's had since COVID, starting with the defeat against Lara, yes, it's not been good, but it's not like it's been all bad. He had a win against Kiko Martinez, a really close one against Lopez, and against Lee Woods. He was in charge of that fight until he got stopped. And I know he got stopped in the 7th. You're not exactly touching a distance away from the tape, but it's not like it's all been bad.
Yeah, not forgetting that the talent he has. He beat an underrated fighter, as far as I'm concerned, in Kid Galahad. Yeah. And Kid Galahad is an absolute nightmare and a very, very clever fighter. Josh Warrington completely put it on him, regardless. He was relentless. So regardless what you say about the fashion of doing, he got the win. He's a clever fighter. Is it the fighter he was? No, he's not. The fighter he is, he still has the heart, desire, fitness, he lives in the gym. So it's timing is everything. So, but still he has the experience, and he knows, I've got a chance to step up and put myself in a great position here. I wouldn't write him off.
No.
I wouldn't write him off at all, because when he's lost, he's not gotten beaten up. So as far as I'm concerned, don't write him off, and I think the Yorkshire boy's still got a bit of Yorkshire water in him. He'll bring something out, something good out, but don't write this young man off.
Well, Johnny's right. You can't write him off. But he has got a young man style of fighting, that high energy, that fast tempo. As you get older, it's harder to keep that up.
So we're just a few minutes away from the start of the first portion of the press conference. Just so you know, it's been split into two. The first bit will start at 6 o'clock. That's for the undercard. Then we'll have a short break, and then we'll be back with the top of the bill, which will be AJ and Dubois, obviously, but probably the trainers. If Don's here, Don Charles, Ben Davison, I'm pretty sure will be up there. The two promoters will definitely be up there. So that's how things are going to go. Let's get on to Hamza Shiraz against Tyler Denny, or, as I was reminded today, correctly, Tyler Denny versus Hamza Shiraz, because Tyler Denny is the champion. if I'm going to be painfully anal about it, which I like to be, it should be Dubois against AJ at the top of the bill. Let's not go there. Hamza Shiraz is kind of one of the chosen ones for Riyadh season. He was an ambassador over the summer, made an ambassador over the summer. He was captain of the Queensbury team in the 5 versus 5, and turned in a really good performance against Austin Williams. People are quite high on him, and I understand why. He speaks well, he carries himself well, he does all of that well. Then he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's a kid from the other side of the tracks, because he's a perfectly pleasant, well-behaved guy himself, but he's come at things through a different route. I'd say that people are probably looking at this as 70-30 in Shiraz's favour. Johnny, would you make that? Is that accurate?
Without a doubt. I think you look at both.
Is it justified?
Very. You look at the style of Tyler Denny, and he's been the underdog so many times because the style looks so simple, so ineffective, so easy to hit. But his heart is massive, his fitness is ridiculous and relentless. You look at Shiraz, just listen to him talk, how he speaks about a fight. I'm impressed with how comfortable he is, saying, you know what, I know my destiny, I know what I'm going to do. Look at the size of him. Look at the things I hear in the gym in regards to how he's training. That's when you hear the real stories about fighters, how good they are or how good they aren't. I'm a massive fan of Tyler Denny. I'm so glad he won the title. He managed to change the direction of his life and his personal life, domestically, his domestic setup. I'm glad he's made some dough. If anybody deserved it, he deserved it currently. But I believe he's a lamb to the slaughter. I believe Shiraz will really put it on him, and I think he'll close him out. And you know what? I like Tyler. I've always been a massive fan of him. I'd like him to win, but I just can't see it happening.
How about you, Carl? That's a pretty strong verdict there from Johnny. Yeah. A lamb to the slaughter. The perceived wisdom seems to be that he needs to get inside that jab, that long 1-2 and get up close, and he does need to do that, but the danger is that Shiraz is pretty good up close.
Really good
that
up
whipping
close.
uppercut with the right hand.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit for his inside fighting and how he does it. His jab, obviously we all know that his jab's beautiful, and it's his best shot, but he can fight on the inside for a big, tall, lanky guy, and a lot of times a lot of people with his dimensions can't fight on the inside, so Tyler Denny will be trying to get close, but when you get close, you're going to get nailed with uppercuts. When he's on the outside, he's going to be getting hit with long jabs from a distance. And I would agree with Johnny. It's a tough fight for him, but I'm glad that he's got an opportunity. I mean, he's European champion. He has a chance. He can win the fight, but it's a slim chance, I would say. And Hamza Shiraz, for me, I think he's one of Britain's best talents at the minute. I think he's a fantastic fighter and very, very knowledgeable. And like you said, Johnny, like he's a student of the game. You listen to him speak, he really understands boxing.
It's an uphill task for Tyler Denny, Matt. I think everybody admitted that from the first moment the fight was made. But one thing's for sure, he won't be fazed by this. He won't be intimidated or overawed by it. Nor will his team. You know, they've been around, they've seen a lot of things. So temperamentally, I think he'll go in there and give off his best. It's just a case of whether that's enough.
I think Tyler Denny and his team, Errol and them all, they don't really buy into the hype. They're very matter of fact. He's got 2 arms, 2 legs. You get in there, you land your jab, you know what I mean? They break it down very logically like that. So, he has upset the apple cart numerous times. He's been on an unbelievable roll. I'd love it to go again for him. But I think the dream, I think the fairy tale ends on Saturday night. I think to be honest, Shiraz, he looks like he's a super middleweight coming down to middleweight. Yeah. He's huge. He's almost like, he's probably the same size as Kelly Pavlik, who was massive at the weight. And Denny, I think, could probably do super welterweight. He's not a big middleweight at all. Now, that's worked to his advantage, actually, sometimes. He comes small and he gets in low and he's awkward. But I think it's a bridge too far this time.
So we just caught sight of Michael Buffer up on the stage there. The press conference has been delayed to 6:10, I'm told. So Michael just checking through those final notes. I'm pretty sure he'll be taking charge of the second one, the one for the top of the bill. But we've still got a couple of fights to talk about on the undercard anyway. Josh Kelly was expected to fight Liam Smith. He isn't. Ishmael Davis has come in at quite short notice. And this is always dangerous because Kelly's used to a big stage. turned pro with a good amount of fanfare, struggled after doing well initially, I think, to live up to things. He had issues mentally around fight week that we were discussing yesterday, Carl, about how he would basically just work himself into such a state whereby the nervous energy would just flow out of him, and on the night he didn't really have too much left. He's addressed that now, he tells us. It is tricky though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're not just training for one fighter. In your head, that is what is happening. And Ishmael Davis isn't Liam Smith. It's not the same name, so therefore it's maybe in your mind not the same kind of occasion. And these are all the things you've got to make sure don't get into your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's obviously all the pressure and eyes on Josh Kelly, because what it looks like from the outside in is there's been a late stand-in opponent that had given a week's notice or whatever, but Ishmael Davis has been training for a fight that was already scheduled, so he'll be fit, under no pressure. He'll be getting paid more money than he's ever got in his life before, I imagine, for a fight, and he has a big opportunity just to slide in under the radar and upset people, and he has a chance to do that. He's a good fighter. I like how he fights, a bit of an old school kind of style about him. He reminds me of some of the fighters from yesteryear, but I think there's a lot to like about him. And Josh Kelly, very, very good fighter. Maybe hasn't completely lived up to the potential that he has. But if we're talking about pressure and how people deal with that going into fight week, it's all on Josh this week. People are expecting him to win. That brings its own type of pressure. It's a tougher fight than people think, I think. I think it's going to be a close one, but again, you have to favour Josh Kelly.
No, I agree with that. I think Davis is one of these guys who I don't think he'll walk away with any regrets on Saturday night, Matt. I think if he doesn't win the fight, he'll be able to look himself in the mirror the next day and think, listen, I did the best I could in there. I gave a good account of myself. Yeah,
and talking about pressure and how psychologically that can be draining if you don't handle it well. Josh Kelly will feel more pressure against Davis because he's expected to win it because he's the favourite, where Liam Smith was a big name.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? He's going to feel the pressure more now because he feels like he's expected so much more to produce the goods, where with Liam Smith, he'll probably see more of a 50-50 fight, or even maybe Liam was the favourite. Then he kind of feels, well, I've got nothing to lose, so the pressure isn't on me. The pressure would have been on Liam Smith. So I think that's something worth talking about, because I think we've seen him before where like you say, he's come to the fight and it hasn't been there, and he says, well, that's down to the mental pressure all week.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really valid point with regard to Kelly, Johnny. I've not really thought of that, but the weight of expectation, I think, was the problem probably in that earlier part of his career, when he ended up eventually losing to Avanesian after that fight was delayed a couple of times, because being backed and having everybody say how great you are, and being with a top trainer in Adam Booth and being on Sky and all that kind of thing, fantastic. But then you might start to think, and I think this might have been the case with Jared Anderson as well, to give an example from recently, then you start to think, hang on, there's a lot riding on this now. I hope I'm as good as they all think I am. I hope I can do this, because people seem to be relying on me now. I'm an economy and industry by myself, and it can all get a bit much.
I think it's about, I've seen many talented fighters that have got all the talent in the world, but just not the desire when it comes to digging deep down. And Carl Froch was losing up to the last round. Who was it against?
Jermaine Taylor.
Jermaine Taylor was never in love with our sport, but he was a good fighter. But when the pressure was turned on, the way he just quit out of it, it's not saying he's a quitter, it's just saying he's not got that fighter's gut heart. So when Josh should have been boxing Smith, I actually thought Smith's got a bigger heart. Smith will put it on you, and I think he'll break your heart. I think in this one here, Josh winning on top, he's flying. This boy's flying, you cannot touch him. I've always been a massive fan of his, and I think Adam Booth's done an amazing job with it, but it's a case of testing that heart. And I don't mean he's a quitter. What I mean is, if you keep pushing, he's the one whose heart will break first.
Okay, well, I've just seen Cacace Sauerland just walking up the steps here. We're talking about Josh Kelly, and as if by magic, Cacace Sauerland appears.
He's having a conversation, won't we?
Callum, we were just
messing around here. Straight on. No, I'm telling you. You're right.
man.
Good to see. I'm seeing you in a while. Seen you a lot.
Thank you, my friend.
Seen you quite a bit as well. Oh well.
Good,
Yeah,
mate.
very well, thanks. Your timing is perfect as always. We're
I
just
love these
talking about
live streams. There's no warm up. No, 1, 2, 1, 2. No, straight in there.
straight in. We were just talking about your man Josh Kelly and how.
The man who's going to steal the show Saturday night.
Okay, well, tell us more. Tell us why.
I don't need to tell these two men here about boxing can be the most horrible sport. Those phone calls, like the one I took Friday morning before I got in the shower, I just like fans don't see behind the scenes is how long you try and put big fights on. You remember for your careers how close a fight is, and then it's off and then it's on. But when you're in a camp and then 7 days out, the opponent's out. I'm like, initially you think, oh, it's not really happening, it's something like a bad dream. It's sort of, but yeah, look, credit to everyone involved. Obviously, all the way up to His Excellency, to Spencer Brown, to Adam Booth, everyone who worked to find not only a replacement, but someone who. Josh says it's a similar style of fight. I'll be totally honest, I still don't know that much about Ishmael Davis, apart from he's a hot prospect with a very good record. But Josh says it's stylistically quite similar to Liam, but mentally, he's coming in that ring with a totally different MO. You know, we're supposed to be boxing in a couple of weeks' time. He'll be fit. He'll know exactly why he dropped out the other fight to take this fight. It wasn't like he was sitting around waiting for a payday. He was boxing in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
So he will be very confident, but it's our time Saturday night.
And if you're heartbroken, the promoters are heartbroken. Can you imagine how Josh feels?
Well, no one cares about the promoter's heart, Johnny. Come on. Did you actually just say someone cares about the promoter's heart? You heard it here first.
But what I'm saying is, I can imagine it would be really hard to keep your fighter in the right direction, as focused, as hungry as it would have been if it was the original opponent.
Oh, totally. But I was talking to Adam about it yesterday. It also shows, a lot of question marks people were raising around Josh in that I always call it the earlier chapter of his career.
Yeah.
Forget in the ring, outside the ring, what he went through in those 48, 72 hours. It was another opponent on Saturday, and it's late Saturday night. The name Davis kept on coming. I thought, right, okay, this is going to be the boy. And with someone else in the morning.
Can I ask you something? Is Josh a student of the game? Does he love the game or is it just a job?
No, loves it.
Really?
Loves it. But he's also, like the locker room, I've seen quite a few locker rooms over the years. You've got to see that Saturday night, what goes on in this locker room for. It's a very relaxed vibe. Went in there once, I was very embarrassed because they asked me to dance. They were dancing in the locker room, and I'm thinking, like, the one thing I definitely cannot do is dance, especially when I'm nervous 2 minutes before walking. It was actually before the Troy Williamson fight, so it was a pretty big fight for him.
Yeah.
And they're going, yeah, come on, let's have a dance. And I'm like, right, okay. But so he's in a very good space.
We were talking about the pressure.
Yeah.
And all the pressure's on Josh in this fight, obviously, because he's a late opponent in Ishmael Davies. People are expecting him to win the fight, and with that expectation comes this different type of pressure. And obviously, he's had his issues mentally. He's spoken about them publicly as well. Is he mentally in a good enough place now to be able to deal with that pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that no one has jumped off here, and we say, okay, just find an opponent. He had to agree to the opponent. He had to agree to a certain level of opponent as well. So I think that tells me a lot. But ultimately, the stage is set for Saturday night, and it's a big stage.
Yeah.
So if there is question mark, there will be answer Saturday. I do think a lot of the question marks for me were answered. It was a big night up in Newcastle when he beat Troy Williamson. It was a big night, and I think Saturday night's different challenges, but he's in a great space.
You've been looking after him. You've been his promoter in this second phase of his career. The first phase finished really with that defeat to Avanesian, which was kind of difficult to watch at the time. You described his demeanour now and how much fun he is to be around. How different is he now to the Josh Kelly you met then? How bruised was he then?
Well, the optical part is the first one I'd look at, because when I saw him, he didn't look in the shape of his life. Now, every time I open my Instagram feed, I've got a picture of him looking like someone out of Men's Health. So he's really enjoying training. That's, I think, a big difference. Yeah, you can see from a fight. I mean, look at Johnny, still, you as well. He didn't look too much like a fighter the first time I saw him. Now he looks like a real athlete the whole time. So it is a long camp. The original Liam Smith fight was supposed to happen earlier this year, so it's been a long old camp for him, and he's just kept at it. So going back to what you said about the mental part as well, to keep plugging away and not saying, right, you know what, I've had enough, going off with the lads now for a couple of weeks, and no, none of that. He's stayed with a gentle pressure the whole time, but he's stayed at it. So I think it's a big difference. I can't comment on that first chapter. I was a viewer of it. I was a viewer of it. I was a big fan of his, and I was surprised at that one night. We all know that one night what happened. But listen, careers. I promoted the Klitschko brothers. Yeah, I remember Vladimir 3 times got knocked out. And I promoted the part where it was after that. So it was a strange old. So he went at 10 years undefeated. But fighters who come back from early knockbacks in their career, it shows a real fighter.
As you mentioned, you've got proper history with heavyweights, so we can't let you go without asking you about the top of the bill. How do you see this one between AJ and Dubois?
I think AJ has found spite. He's found spite. I think you've got to look at what he's learned, obviously, from Rob McCracken in the early years, what the other coaches have given him. All those coaches have added layers. I think that's all come very nicely together under Ben Davison. But I think most important, he's got some sort of real spite.
Yeah.
And if you ask me what was missing, people called him a finisher earlier. They put all sorts of labels on him. But for me, he was never the finisher. He had Klitschko gone. And he didn't finish him, like he should have finished him in the early rounds. He had him. He was gone. So he wasn't the finisher. That part for me, and that's not based on him knocking out, for me, a crossover boxing artist. I look at the Wallin fight. I look at the way he dealt with Wallin. I promoted Wallin in the early part of his career. I know what he is. He's done exactly what it says on the tin. Horrible fighter to fight against. I was Tyson about him. Horrible. But you've got to put them away. He's done a great job.
Okay, I think we are ready. Here's Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference for Riyadh Season Card, Wembley edition. A great night of World Championship Boxing this Saturday from Wembley Stadium in London, England. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority GIA, Turkey Al Sheikh, for putting together this spectacular Riyadh Season event and its fight week here in London. Riyadh Season has really re-elevated the sport, and it is genuinely being done for the boxing fans. It is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing. This event is sponsored by Visit Saudi, Solomon Al Habib Hospital, Saudi Airlines, Red Sea Global, Daria, and Middle Beast, in partnership with Gold Star Promotions and Stella, in association with Wasserman Boxing and Boxer. This great event will be shown worldwide on DAZN, on TNT Sports Box Office, Sky Sports Box Office, and on payperview.com. Let's first welcome the town clerk and Chief Executive of the City of London, Mr. Ian Thomas, CBE.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish I had a voice like him. That's all I can say. Welcome to this Guildhall, the amazing venue. Look around, you will see the stained glass, the weight of history. This building, the Guildhall, was built in 1411. 600 years of history here, the oldest serving civic building in the world. And you'll see statues around, the weight of history I mentioned. Lord Nelson, Duke of Wellington, Winston Churchill, to name but a few. The place where iconic things happened and infamous events happened, the trial of Lady Jane Grey, who is known as the 9-Day Queen, happened here. This survived the Great Fire of London in 1666 and the Blitz in World War II. It's a place where this court, the City of London, meets. You'll often see me here in tights. They didn't tell me this when they gave me the job, that I have to wear tights. And I've worked out, finally, how to keep tights up because they kept falling down. I've got the secret now. But that's part of the job, and we sit here and we discuss key issues of the day in this honourable court. Beneath, you'll see Roman remains in our amphitheatre, going back 2,000 years. Yes, we've been around longer than the DFS sale, and we have more assets than Taylor Swift and Oasis combined, even after the ticket prices went up. Sport, and what we've got to do with sport. Well, actually, sport's really important to us here in the City of London. Led by Deputy Lord, we have a new sports strategy, and supported by our chairman, Christopher Hayward, a new sports strategy that is designed to ensure that London is world-leading for sport in terms of a destination. We've got 11,000 acres across Greater London, including Epping Forest, Hampstead Heath, where you'll see football pitches, cricket pitches, Lidos, rugby, you name it, we have it here. And the city is an amazing place. The City of London is an amazing place. I've had a great time working here. You get to do brilliant things like this, hosting this amazing event, and meet some great people. I was just saying to my wife just last week, reflecting on my time here at the city, that never in our wildest dreams would we have thought that we'd be meeting such brilliant and amazing people. And my wife turned to me and said, "Ian, you're never in my wildest dreams, mate." That's what she said. She was very cruel to me about that. But we're here, we meet people like you, we host people like you. It's a great honour to have you here. And just some final acknowledgements. I'd like to thank the sponsors and organisers of tonight's event, also the Mayor of London for his support in bringing high-profile sport to the capital, thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz, and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed Salman, and His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, for putting together this spectacular Riyadh season event and its fight week here in London. The Riyadh season has really elevated the sport, and it is genuinely being done for the fans of boxing. We are here today to witness an outstanding card featuring Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois for the IBF heavyweight title of the world. I'd like to say let's get ready to rumble, but I can't. But what I can say is thank you and enjoy this evening's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ian Thomas, CBE. Let's now welcome our host, Mr. Dev Sani.
Thank you, Thomas Triber. Thank you, Ian Thomas, CBE, as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another groundbreaking Riyadh season special. And this truly is something special. We have lit up the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh. We have lit up the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, and on Saturday night we will light up the National Stadium right here in the United Kingdom. Welcome to the Riyadh season card, Wembley Stadium edition. This truly special night, I mean, Riyadh now has become the global home of everything big time. The entire boxing landscape has changed. Over the space of the last 11 months, we have seen new kings crowned, we've seen history written, we've seen enemies unite, we've seen legends made, and we've seen a few legends fade. And the reason is Riyadh season. And now some of that Saudi Arabian magic is just starting to get sprinkled around the world. We saw it last month as pound-for-pound star Terence Crawford made his Riyadh season debut. And we'll see it again, Wembley Stadium on Saturday night. The main event, of course, former two-time unified world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua taking on the newly crowned, heavy-handed Daniel Dynamite Dubois. He is now the world champion heading into this fight. It's an explosive head-on collision in the heavyweight division. And the undercard all set up here. Well, in what is becoming the norm for Riyadh season, you can't even really call this an undercard. So many of these fights could be the main event. And we've very much got the UK covered. London to Leeds, we've got West Midlands to Belfast, Scotland to Sunderland. A little bit of everything on Saturday night. And by the way, as if that wasn't supersonic enough, we've even got a little bit of Liam Gallagher on Saturday night. So make sure you tune in if you're not lucky enough to be there. A truly unforgettable evening coming up. Well, let's speak to some of these fighters. Let's start with a very intriguing fight in the super lightweight division. We're speaking about unforgettable nights. Well, there was a young gentleman sat on the end of the table there on my left side who received an unforgettable phone call. Josh Padley will be taking on Mark Chamberlain on Saturday night. And Josh, I'm going to start with you here, because I read a brilliant article in The Sun about you. You managed to get a full page in The Sun from Wally Downs, talking about how you are giving up the job of becoming, or of being an electrician to follow this boxing dream. Big night for you on Saturday.
Yeah, big night. I want to first of all say thank you to everybody involved in Riyadh season. It's been nothing short of amazing this week. But yeah, the last 8 weeks I've managed to become a full-time athlete and give myself the best chance possible come Saturday night.
Well, I've heard you say that you will be Mark Chamberlain's best opponent yet. And I put that to Mark Chamberlain quite recently, who sat at the other end.
Boy, he's got some backing up to do.
Well, look, Mark, just chime in. I mean, when you talk to me, you said he needs to give his head a wobble, and you'll give his head a wobble. I mean, what are the thoughts here, gents?
He can try, like. I'm sure he's gonna. It's a fight, but I back myself, and I definitely think I'm gonna be Mark's hardest test to date.
How do you claim you as my hardest test?
Because I haven't had a chance to prove myself yet.
Okay.
You're my proof, so when I beat you Saturday night, then...
You've got a lot of backing up to do if you're going to beat me. Trust me.
That's what I'm coming to do, bro, don't worry.
You can have a go, but you're not going to.
Mark, your opponent is also on record saying that he will bring chaos on Saturday night. How do you deal with chaos, Mark?
Same as every fight, really. They all talk the talk, and when they get punched on the chin, it all changes for them, so you'll soon find out.
And you're becoming a bit of a favourite around Riyadh. It's no secret. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has highlighted you as one of his favourite fighters, maybe his favourite fighter. That's a lot of pressure heading into Saturday.
Yeah, obviously there's that added pressure there. But while we're on that subject, I would like to thank Turki Al-Sheikh, Spencer Brown, Queensbury, Frank Warren, everyone involved for letting me be involved in these platforms. And like I say, you're going to see another explosive performance on Saturday night, and we'll come away with another victory and keep everyone happy and hopefully be part of these big platforms in the future.
Well, Josh Padley, let me just come to you here. Do you think he's overlooking you at all? He speaks with a lot of confidence as to how he's going to deal with you on Saturday night.
I mean, he's obviously going off what he's seen of me, which is not much content out there. Again, I've never had a chance to really prove myself against a high-level fighter, so this is the level that I want to be at. Come Saturday night, you're going to see that.
You're going to need to, because you're in a proper fight Saturday night.
That's what I want. That's why I'm here.
Cool. Make sure you bring your A game, because you're going to need it.
got everything ready.
Okay, we'll see. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Mark Chamberlain. Thank you, Josh Padley. A brilliant fight there between two unbeaten fighters. Someone has got to go.
Not mine.
Today. As Mark Chamberlain says, not his. So we'll tune in to find out anyway. No spoilers. Thank you, Mark. Let's keep things moving. We'll head to the middleweight division. Now, there was supposed to be a fight here between Josh Kelly and Liam Smith. Unfortunately, Liam Smith had to pull out. We wish him well. He's had to pull out. He's not well. We can't go through with the fight. But Liam Smith's loss is the gain of Ishmael Davis. He got the call. 6 days' notice. He stepped up. He said yes. Ishmael Davis, I mean, how do you go from being the guy that just took the fight with Josh Kelly to being the guy that makes sure he beats Josh Kelly on Saturday?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Eddie Hearn and Turkey Al-Sheikh for this chance and all the matchroom team. But listen, I've heard in Josh Kelly's interviews, he's overlooking me. And let me just tell you, your best win's Troy Williamson, who I just beat as well. And every time you've stepped up, you've been beat. Ray Robinson, you should have lost. David Avenessian beat you. And I'm the most progressive British boxer. No joke. So you're overlooking me. But Saturday night, bro, you're going to be in there with the hell, bro. I'm telling you now.
I'm excited to see.
I dare you to meet me in the middle of the ring. I know what you're going to do. Hit, move, hit, man. I'm going to be on you the whole way, bro. And you've never had it like me, bro. You get me? And you're overlooking me, and your trainer knows, bro. He knows. And you can't train for my style. So you've been training for Liam Smith, yeah. But you can't train for my style. You're gonna laugh, bro. You're a pretty boy. You're not cut like me, bro. I tell you now, you ain't cut like me. I'm fit, bro. I ain't here for no payday. I'm here because I believe I'm gonna knock you out, bro. You ain't making it to the 12th. Let me tell you, bro. Let me tell you.
Talk till you get in.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see, bro.
Your best win was Troy Williamson.
But we're gonna see, bro. We are gonna send everyone
levels
because everyone seems to think
it's levels. There's levels to this game.
The truth is, every single time you've stepped up, you've been beat, bro.
You learn.
And me and you have got the same best win. Troy's my best win. I didn't have no amateur.
2 years on, I finished Troy. I finished, bro. I finished them.
We're gonna see on Saturday. All the talking's done, yeah. Saturday night's gonna happen.
You're doing a lot of talking there.
You're gonna see a real superstar.
You're doing a lot
That's
of
what
talking
I am.
there.
I'm gonna show you.
You're doing a lot of talking there.
Trust me, bro.
Listen, we'll see. I'm excited to see you.
I'm gonna show you, Josh.
I'm grateful for you taking the fight.
I'm gonna show you, bro.
This late notice against someone like me,
bro. And
you got some balls on
your chest, bro.
You got some balls on you.
I dare you.
Hold you up. Hold you
in the middle of the ring with me.
Hold you up.
I dare you.
You don't punch enough.
Everyone, you're a superstar. You don't punch enough. Step in the middle of the ring with me and stay there with me. You were going to kip, mate.
Yeah.
You're going to kip anyway. We'll see you anyway. You're gonna.
Okay.
Believe.
I'm excited to see.
I'm excited. Believe you. When I got that call, 6 days notice, mate, I couldn't sleep. I got out of my bed and I was up the whole day after watching Canelo beat fucking. Sorry for my language. After watching Canelo beat Belanga. I'm gonna beat you, bro. I'm gonna be
a little bit excited here, Ishmael.
I'm gonna see.
Save that energy for Saturday night, bro.
Yeah, man.
Save that.
Cool.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that was one question, by the way, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
was a bit excited.
Just the one.
I was a bit excited.
Because you know what it is? I hate,
excited.
I know what I'm about, so I hate, people, no, listen, there's no bad blood, yeah, but I hate people talking down to me, down about me, like, oh yeah. Like, I'm training for world level and this. Bro, you're not world level, bro. When have you been world level? Never. And I believe I'm going there, so we're going to see. Because you're in my...
Have a look at my box, Rick. Have a look at your box, Rick. Have a look at what I've fought and have a look at you fought.
It doesn't matter,
have a look at it. Have a look at the people you beat.
It doesn't matter, bro.
You're
telling you now, I'm the most progressive British boxer. I've had no amateurs, bro. I've had 2 fights on TV.
Yeah.
The first one, the second one was much better. This one's going to be much better.
Well done.
And I've had 3 weeks in camp.
You're getting very excited. You need to save that energy,
Yeah, cool.
That's come out of nowhere. That's nervous energy
all the time, bro. You're not where I'm
nervous
bro. Where I come from, mate, you make a mistake, your life's gone, bro. You ain't from there. You're a pretty boy, bro. So let me tell you that.
We're boxing, brother.
And remember,
we're boxing.
Remember that.
We're boxing, normally.
Anyway, talk.
Where am I
from?
from?
See Saturday night.
We're boxing.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Ishmael, I asked you one question, so I should, of course, ask Josh one question. Hi, Josh. Great to see you, by the way.
Great to see you, Dave.
Listen, you've had to switch, late change, 6 days' notice. It was going to be Liam Beefy Smith. Yeah. It's now this man who is intent on taking your head off on Saturday. How has that switch been for you?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Spencer, Wasserman, Turkey Al-Sheikh for helping me out, keep me on this card. Switch been beautiful, you know. I believe he's going to bring exactly what Liam was going to bring. Liam's world class at it, that's the difference. Ishmael's improved himself world class at it, so I was getting ready for someone on that level and that magnitude. And I just put our stars and our boxing ability side by side, and I believe he's getting tossed in the deep end late notice. It's a lot of excitement and a lot of, I know I belong here. I brought Ishmael to the table, accepting this fight. So Ishmael's going to be excited. He's going to come out. He's going to fight off a lot of nerves. But when it comes to crunch time, when you're in front of the big crowd in Wembley Stadium, it's going to come on top real quick.
He's talking about...
I'm made for this. Believe me, I'm made for this.
Well, you want him to stand and trade with you, right? Josh, he's made that pretty clear. Come and have a fight with me. Will you stand and trade with him? You going to have a fight with him?
He hasn't got enough power for me to respect him, really, to stand there and trade, do you know what I mean? If he's stopping the guys on the feet and then seeing his pagger Troy Williamson didn't take one backward step, didn't get hurt once in the fight. I hurt Troy Williamson 4 times, 5 times.
It's a lie, bro. It's a lie.
4 or 5
no
times.
Seen a night.
At 120, 109. 120, 109.
Josh,
120, 109.
You're a nice guy, bro. Let's just allow the chat. Yeah, I'll see you Saturday.
116, 140. You started the chat though, Ishmael.
Yeah,
don't start.
He
asked you one question, you went off.
Bro, like I'm going to be doing
He asked you one question, you went off.
about me, bro. I've not said no, but respectful, and I heard you talking down about me. I've got to come
lad, who I am. You need to give it a rest, you need to wind it in, just chill out.
Cool.
Just relax.
Cool, I'm cool.
We'll get on Saturday, don't worry, relax.
Saturday you're going to see, bro.
Relax. I know it's the first time here, but listen, we're all big boys here, let's just relax.
I've been on good shows before. This is the biggest show, yeah, but it's not about this, bro. This don't mean nothing.
This is your first time at the table.
That means something, bro. Because if I lose the fight, all this is gone. So it don't matter. Just believe I've got that in mind.
So you're lumping that pressure on yourself, don't worry. Make sure you come in with that pressure.
Bro. Same for you. If you lose this fight, where are you going? Everyone's going to laugh at you, bro. Because you think you're a superstar.
I am.
Big superstar.
We've got to move it along. We've got so many brilliant fights. I could probably listen to you talk all day, and you probably could talk all day. Brilliant stuff. Middleweight fight coming up. Josh Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Dev.
Ishmael Davis. Thank you, Mr. Josh Kelly. Thank you, Ishmael Davis. What a fight. That's whet the appetite here.
That's a bit spicy.
It's a bit spicy. It's a bit spicy. I'm not sure we'll get similar spice between two very nice guys here in Josh Warrington and Anthony Cacace. I've seen your face-offs. It's all been very respectful. But let's see what we can do. Let's have a chat here. Josh, this is for the IBO World Super Featherweight Championship, by the way. Josh, great to see you. We know all about the Leeds warrior, Josh Warrington, at featherweight. Tenacious. Never took a step back. He's got that will, that grit. But what is Josh Warrington like at super featherweight?
Absolutely massive. I'd like to just carry on echoing, boys. Thank you to all those involved in giving this opportunity. Frank, Eddie, Spencer, His Excellency. It's a new chapter for me. Super featherweight. Been a featherweight for over 12 years, championship level. But you know what? It's one of them things where you look back over your career. You should have done this. You should have done that. But now's the time to step up. And, this camp, I felt the benefits from it. Everyone talks about having the best camp and this, that and the other, but I feel really strong, feel really good. And, I'll show on Saturday night that, it's a decision that I should have done a few years ago.
Your opponent, Anthony Cacace, the champ over there, he says that your style is perfect for him. If he wants to box you, he can box you. If he wants to fight you, he can fight you. What do you think about that?
Oh, you try to get a wooden spoon in there, Dev. And we know between me and him, there's a lot of animosity in this room, but nothing but respect for the man. He's a new champion. Listen, you're not going to get loads of screaming and shouting at me, and I don't think you're going to do that. One thing I will guarantee you is action on Saturday night, and I think that's the way that I've always done my business. I think that's the same with him as well. So, we might not shout and scream at each other, but listen, don't miss our fight, because guarantee it'll be the fight of the night. I'm experienced. I'm experienced in this game, and I think I've dealt with every single style that I've come against. We've been tall, short, a boxer, a puncher. I've been in with them big guys, and a lot of the time I've come through it. So that experience, you can't buy that, and it goes a long way.
Josh, I've heard you say you want to be in fights that people remember. You've already been in so many that people will remember.
Mm-hmm.
What will people be saying about Josh Warrington on Saturday night?
Just stepped up and he never turned his back, and even when the chips were down and things weren't going his way, he turned up and did the business. No, I said that, Dev, about the belts, because disappointed the IBF's not on the line now, but it just is. It's about like I said, it's about the fight, and we're going to have an exciting fight this weekend. And yeah, the journey of Josh Warrington will continue.
Okay, let's hear from your opponent, the champ, the Andy Town Apache, Anthony Cacace. Brilliant, thrilling win over Joe Cordina last time out on the Fury Usyk undercard. And now you head into this fight as the champion. You head in as the favourite. You head in, surely, with the pressure.
No, there's no pressure. Josh, he's a two-time world champion. His career's been filled with success. I'm only getting a bit of success now. Josh's a great champion, featherweight. He's moving up in weight this one. He's a bit stronger and whatever else. But I'm a big super featherweight, and it's going to be a tough night for him.
Well, you've said that his style is perfect for you. Just tell us a little bit more about that. Why is it so perfect for you?
I've boxed. He's smaller than me. He's going to come on the shots. I'm not going to have to go looking for him. So, also, he's a big set of balls. He's big heart. He's going to come for a proper fight, and that's exactly what I want him to do. So, Josh, he's a good lad. I've got nothing bad to say about him. His accolades speak for themselves. He's done everything. Fought some great champions, beat them. So I know I'm in for a hard night, but listen, no one's taking these belts off me.
What is it that makes you unbeatable right now? Because I've heard the way you've been talking ahead of this fight. There's an intensity about you. There's something in your eyes. It feels like it's going to take a lot to beat you. But what do you think? What is making you so tough to beat right now?
Well, no man's unbeatable. Every man's beatable. But, again, this is all new to me. I've worked from I was 9 years of age. I'm now 35. I've worked to have these in front of me and to have these type of nights ahead, so I don't want to be giving these away, a couple of months down the line, but I know I'm not taking George for granted. I know exactly what he's going to bring, I know he's locked in, but again, the belts are coming with me.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony Cacace. Thank you, Josh Warrington. Brilliant super featherweight fight. Two gentlemen, if you watch the face-off, you'll see they'll probably be friends after this, but when the first bell rings, they are going to give it absolutely everything on Saturday night. Well, we've got a brilliant fight at light heavyweight. The WBO interim light heavyweight championship is on the line. Willie Hutchinson and Joshua Buatsi. Now, the build-up to this fight has been, let's say, ill-tempered. For those that haven't seen the clips, it got a little bit out of hand when they did a face-off. They had to be separated by security. I'm hoping it doesn't kick off today because I'm certainly not worthy of being a security man. But let's start with Willie Hutchinson. Let's start with the Hutch train. It was a brilliant win last time out against Craig Richards. You went into that fight telling everyone what you were going to do, telling everyone that you're going to beat this man. You were the underdog, but you did it. How do you feel about this one?
100%, Dev, 100%. Listen, look at the people we're up here with. For me, this is unbelievable. It's, what an experience. Do you know what I mean? A lot of great fighters up here, but like I said, Dev, last time out, everything I said I'd done, I basically done with far from knock him out, and I nearly did 3 or 4 times. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just looking forward to knocking this fella out on Saturday night. Yeah.
This one has been quite a spicy build-up. It has been, there's been hands put on each other. You've been separated by security, as I mentioned. Why do you think that is? What's going on?
I don't have a clue, to be honest with you. It's up to this fella. I was alright, to be honest with you, until, I don't know what happened to him. He got an emotional wreck. And his emotions got to him, and it's probably the same thing's going to happen to him in this fight. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I wasn't trying to do anything. I went to shake his hand before we went up to the thing. He gave me the yeah fist bump.
And then from then it went downhill from him.
Well, let's bring in Joshua Botti and get his version of events here. Are you an emotional wreck, Joshua?
Firstly, let me thank Aaron for coming here. His Excellency, Boxer, those that are behind it. I don't think I'm an emotional wreck, no.
You're not now because you're starving.
Yeah, I'm starving, it's true.
Shut up.
Don't
start with all that crap again.
Starving. But
Because you're hungry.
I'll tell you one thing though.
You look hungry, brother.
We're a couple of days
You
away
look
from the
hungry.
fight, so there's nothing that's going to happen to derail me. We're like 2-3 days away, so I'm looking forward to it.
What has happened here? Because I watched your roundtables with Craig Richards, Dan Aziz. Do you want a handshake at the end?
If you want to know, go online, because I've done repeating myself about grabbing the scalp. It wasn't a big thing. Let's move on, man. We're 2 days away.
It was... Dev, just keep talking. Well, I don't even know where it come from, because me and this fella, even though we only met a few times, and a couple of times we did meet, I beat him up in the gym. But apart from that, it was always alright, do you know what I mean? Listen, I'm the biggest worky ticket in the whole entire world. Far from it. But I genuinely was actually trying to be alright with this man. And then he tried to be a bad man, and he ain't got any bad man in him. You know what I mean? What bad man would he know? Ain't got a clue.
Cool story, bro. Ev, what's up?
What?
I can ask you another question, Josh. I mean,
All right.
look, Willie has mentioned there, and there is a theme of sparring story heading into this event. He is on record quite regularly saying that he had his way with you in sparring. I know you've done several interviews saying you don't believe that to be the case. This is the opportunity on a big stage to kind of downplay his claims.
It's not an opportunity on a big stage. It's all on the internet. So again, Dev, if you want to remind yourself, if anyone here wants to remind themselves, go on YouTube, man. The answer's the same.
How do you win this fight?
By being Botti. I show up. I tell you guys who my source is. I always give reference to God, because literally everyone here works hard and different things work for different people. But for me, that's my source.
And what do you think of Willie Hutchinson?
I think about him what you think. What everyone thinks about him is the same.
To be honest with you, I think I'm alright. Unless I'm deluded and away with the fairies, I genuinely think I'm actually alright. I shake everybody's hand. Every person I meet, I shake their hand. I try and be as helpful as I can. I can be a nightmare sometimes, yeah. Like I'm his nightmare just now, but I'm only his nightmare. You know what I mean?
You think you're a nice guy, then everyone thinks you're a nice guy, then you're a nice guy.
Well, they're all laughing. They're not laughing with you.
I don't need people to laugh with me, bro. They're laughing at you.
No one laughed, though, quite like that. That's all right. Well, I hope not. Anyhow, I think you're all my friends, and I'm enjoying every second of this until really tomorrow's the first bit in it. So when you weigh in, we'll see. We'll go see each other in a minute, anyhow. But we'll get a bit of food into us, and then Saturday night. The first thing's tomorrow, and then Saturday. Listen, I've been in camp for 11 weeks. Today, Thursday, I went on a Thursday, 11 weeks. I've been training my ass off for 11 weeks. I've done all the hard work. This is fun, man. Enjoy yourself, innit? What on earth have I been doing all that for? What? To look on the table, oh, these things. You know what I mean? I've been training for this man for not for 11 weeks, for 17 years. He's the biggest step of for me. And I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? This is fun. Have some fun. That man looks like he's gonna cry his eyes out, bless him.
Tell us why you win this fight, Willie.
Why? Because I'm far too good for him. It's that simple.
Any final message?
In every aspect.
Again?
Any final message?
He knows it.
I told him already, September 21st, I'll see you. So 2 more days, babe. I'll see you.
It's just like that, man.
It's just like that. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Joshua Boatti. Brilliant. WBO Interim Light Heavyweight Championship on the line on Saturday night. Of course, the winner is in line for a shot at the winner of Artur Beterbiev against Dmitry Bivol coming up October 12th, all part of Riyadh season. That's a fantastic fight. Do not miss that one. Well, let's move on to the chief support. We've got 2 middleweights here who both have different habits. We've got Hamza Shiraz, who has got a habit of knocking out every single middleweight that gets put in front of him. We've got Tyler Denny, who has a habit of when he is presented with an unbeaten rising British middleweight, he takes their unbeaten record. That's what we have heading into this fight. He's also the European champion. And Tyler Denny, I'm going to start with you. In your most recent fights, you talked about how you want to go to Saudi. You want to go and get some of that Saudi magic. Well, Saudi has come to you. Riyadh season has come to the UK. How does it feel to be part of such an incredible show?
Listen, I'm privileged, man, and I've talked it into existence. I'm here. But firstly, I want to thank His Excellency, Spencer Brown, Boxer, BCBL Johnson, and my whole team. It's been a great experience all week. I've enjoyed every second of it, and I'm looking forward to Saturday night. I plan to enjoy that even more.
What do you make of your opponent here? He is he's unbeaten. He's got very heavy hands. He's a Riyadh season ambassador as well, by the way. So very much a fancied kind of golden boy, if you will. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. Listen, I'm not going to badmouth him. He's a great fighter. But so am I. You know what I mean? And I'm here to show why I believe I'm a better fighter. And I'm just glad I got the opportunity to do so. Like I say, I rate him. I think he's a world level fighter. But, you know, I believe in myself, man. My confidence is sky high, and I'm willing to fight anyone. When I got the call about this fight, I couldn't say yes quick enough. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing disrespectful to Hamza, just the whole occasion and everything. Throw a great name like Hamza to have that on my resume. That's what I'm all about, man.
Well, Hamza Shiraz was asked, give us 3 reasons why you beat Tyler Denny. And the 3 reasons were, I am bigger, I am stronger, I hit harder. He makes a pretty compelling case, Tyler. What do you say to that?
Well, I seen an interview off AJ the other day on about he was bigger, stronger, and everything over Usyk. But he didn't beat Usyk. There's a lot more to boxing than being the taller guy, bigger guy. You know what I mean? Listen, I understand why I'm the underdog, but I've been the underdog my whole career, and I keep winning. So that's my case. I believe in myself. The tenacity that I'm going to bring the heat and the confidence, and there's no way I'm losing the fight.
Well, let's bring in Hamza Shiraz. Hamza, you are a Riyadh season ambassador as well. Firstly, just how great is it to have Riyadh season here in the UK? You must be very proud as an ambassador.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank the Almighty Allah for allowing us to be here today. I'd like to thank His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh for, not just giving me, but giving all us fighters up here the opportunity to give back. I'd like to thank the main man Spencer down there for helping me out a lot. And yeah, I'm honoured, Dev, honoured to say the least. It's like I keep saying, it's our opportunity to give back, especially being a Riyadh season ambassador. There's expectations there, and people say, is it pressure? I wouldn't say it's pressure. I like having these expectations of me, because I turn up, I show up, and I get the knockout.
Well, you're in against a man who is an underdog who keeps on winning. What do you make of your opponent, Tyler Denny, on Saturday night?
Listen, he does what he's got to do. You know what I mean? He does what he's got to do. He turns up. He's been beaten whoever's in front of him, the underdogs and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you've got to remember, I'm nothing like the last 5 fighters he's upset. Listen, I go out to LA, I do my thing over there. And if you speak to anyone, speak to Ricky, speak to my coach, speak to my team, you understand that I am a very, very, very disciplined man, and I understand the mission of what I've set out to do and how I want to achieve it and what I've got to do. And the buck stops with Tyler Denny, and I've got to get him out of the way.
Well, Tyler, let me just bring you back in here. You were asked a little while ago, do you feel like Hamza Shiraz has made a mistake taking on a fight with Tyler Denny, considering he's on the cusp of challenging for a world title? You said, yes, I feel he has made a mistake. We put that to Hamza, and he said, well, that might change in fight week. The energy may change from Tyler. So what is the energy? Has this man made a mistake?
Listen, man, if you think I'm going to turn up and start shitting myself, you've got another thing coming. I don't get the question. I don't get why you can get triggered by that. You asking me if I made a mistake. I'm never going to say, no, he made the right decision, he's going to splatter me. You know what I mean? I believe in myself. Of course I'm going to say he's made a mistake. That's just it is. He could have waited around and got his opportunities. Fair play to him, man. He wants a good fight. I'm the European champion. I'm going to bring him a good fight. And That's all it is, really. It's a bit of stirring and whatever, but, you know, I believe in myself. Of course, I think he's made a mistake.
Hamza, we talked about, you said well, let's see what his energy is in fight week. That's a pretty clear indication of what he intends to do.
Yeah, it is, and I'm glad, like I said, I keep banging on about giving back. That's all I want to do when you got the opportunity of this magnitude.
Well, Tyler Denny was also asked 3 reasons why I beat Hamza Shiraz. He said, I want it too much, my confidence is sky high, and I'm a sore loser. How do you deal with that?
I win. It's as simple as that. Don't really make much of it. He done what he had to do, he answered the questions, and that was that.
You're on a streak of 14 consecutive knockouts. When you look across there, you see Tyler Denny. Is that number 15?
Yeah, definitely, inshallah. That's the plan. Do you know what I mean? I've worked too hard, Dev. I've worked too hard.
Tyler, any response?
No chance. No chance, man. No chance. I'm winning the fight, obviously. He believes he wins the fight. But I think it's two people who genuinely believe they're winning the fight. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to get a good fight. And that's the good thing with Riyadh season is the best fighting the best, man. Do you know what I mean? So bring it on.
Bring it on, indeed. Thank you, Hamza Shiraz. Thank you, Tyler Denny. Brilliant fight at middleweight on Saturday. Well, that concludes the undercard part of the press conference. They're going to do face-offs now down the front, and we'll be back very shortly for the main event. Thank you.
So that concludes the undercard press conference. We will now have some face-offs, though, that we will run our eyes over as these pairs of fighters go head-to-head. I think the fight of the night there was Josh Kelly against Ishmael Davis. Carl, Ishmael Davis brought some heat, didn't he, to the podium, and it's kind of tied in with the discussion we were having earlier on. I felt that was good tactics from him.
He made a good point as well. Me and Matt were talking about it. Like they both share the same best win. I think that he maybe feels a little bit disrespected by what some of the things Josh Kelly's saying, and I don't even think he said it purposely. I think Josh Kelly genuinely thinks he's a level above Ishmael Davis. Ishmael Davis thinks that's a little bit of disrespect thrown his way, and you could tell he was annoyed there. But he's up for it, isn't he? Like, I mean, out of all the fighters, he sounded the most ferocious on the stage, and he's definitely here to win.
I thought Kelly handled that pretty well, though. He didn't really rise to it. He stayed calm, and I thought by the end of that exchange, maybe he slightly came out on the right side of it, because Davis possibly just went on a little bit too long saying the same thing.
He did, but I think it was probably a bit of a reality check for Kelly as well, thinking, you know what, I've got to actually give this guy some props. You know, he's just not here to make the numbers up. I thought this was a walk in the park Saturday night. Hearing that, seeing that, you know, the points that Davis is putting across there, he's thinking this could actually be more even than what it is. Now, this is down to a fighter's individual self-confidence to think, do I really believe I'm levels above you? But by the sounds of it, it's like, you know what, maybe I've got to actually give you a bit more respect than I thought.
Matt, we didn't get loads out of Tyler Denny or Hamza Shiraz or Anthony Cacace or Josh Warrington, which was what we expected, really. Kind of all eyes were on Willie Hutchinson and Josh Boatti to an extent, and he didn't really manage to land Hutchinson, did he? I'm not saying he was trying overly hard to, but I think he was just having a bit of a fence just to see what might happen, and Boatti wasn't really having it.
No, he was prodding a little bit, but nothing came back, did it? So he had nothing to really go with. I still think it's going to be a really good fight, you know. Boatti's never been a big talker at press conferences. You know, he's sort of always plays it down, doesn't he? But I think it'll be a good fight. So I think Hutchinson's going to be tricky. I think he's going to be early doors, could be difficult for Boatti. I think the second half will be really interesting.
And let's remember the potential of Willie Hutchinson. I think his first 5 fights he'd signed with Haymaker. Yeah. They don't sign anybody and everybody. So and it's only because of
Shelley
this stuff.
Finkel's his manager as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't sign anybody they don't think has the potential. This man's got the potential. Now, hopefully the maturity matches his ability and self-confidence, self-belief. This fight is a lot closer, and people should pay a lot more attention to this fight than any other fight on the other card, because if there's going to be an upset, it's that one.
The fighters just behind us, just assembling either side of the stage, patiently waiting for the face-offs. And I think the first one is coming, which will be Mark Chamberlain and Josh Padley. A kind of, how would you describe that? Panoramic view almost of Eddie Hearn there and Frank Warren. And Chamberlain and Padley is a fight that was put together at relatively short notice. Padley had 6-7 weeks notice for this. Chamberlain a heavy favourite, which is completely understandable, and he's taking the opportunity here, Chamberlain, I think, to just kind of welcome Padley to the big time and just try and make him understand that on Saturday there'll be nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. He's got a bit of he's got a side to him, Chamberlain, I think, which you see comes out gradually during fight week.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a spiteful person. I think that I like the way he fights. I think that there was obviously a lot of talk about him and Sam Noakes in this rivalry they're building up, but he seems to be doing his own thing now, being backed heavily by Turki Al-Sheikh, who loves him. But you can see why. He's an exciting fighter. Really, really good, exciting fighter to watch. And he looks to knock people out. He looks to hurt people. And he was just letting Josh Padley know that I'm the big boy here in town and I'm the boss.
So Moses Atama has joined us on the panel. Thanks very much for taking the time. Always good to see you. When you look at these press conferences yourself in big fight weeks, you've been part of a few of them now. How do you view them? Do you feel like you watch people go about their business and pick up a few tips? Do you feel like there's an expectation on you to say more as you get older and more experienced?
No, not really. Sometimes I like watching it as a fan. Like, obviously, I know I'm in the sport of boxing, but yeah, I do like the entertainment side. So obviously, when I do see something silly in a press conferences or something like, don't know, I'll just smile at it. I don't really tend to take it in my note or anything, but I do like watching the press conference.
So we've got Hamza Shiraz and Tyler Denny up on stage at the moment. Oh no, that was Ishmael Davis and Josh Kelly, I beg your pardon. So those two just breaking off, and that was all pretty civilised. Davis, as we were mentioning, had plenty to say, and I think it was wise of him to try and kind of put it on Josh Kelly a bit in the press conference and just remind him of what you were all saying, basically, which is that with the change of opponent, the pressure is now really on Kelly rather than Davis. In terms of these press week events, when you two were fighting, were you just glad to get them out of the way? Was it a relief to have it over with and now you could just concentrate on the very final bits of weight making?
Might have been different for Johnny, but I was always struggling to make weight, so they were a pain in the ass for me, if I'm being honest. All I wanted to do was not be around food, not be around people. I was hungry, I was thirsty, and I was angry. The last thing you want to do is a press conference, but you understand why they have to be done.
I hated this week. Brendan called me the entertainer. Why? Why? I wasn't funny, couldn't tell jokes. But I thought this week, why are you asking me these questions now? Why don't you ask me them at the beginning of training camp? And it's just something you're obligated to do. You've got to do. It's the business side of our sport. And you do as little as possible. But if it's personal, that's where fights are won and lost. That's where I thought I won the fight against Carl Thompson for the world title. Fight week, because I knew he wore his heart on his sleeve. So you've got to think tactically, you've got to think smart, but most of the time, you don't want to do it.
All very good natured between Cacace and Josh Warrington there, all smiles, and that's how it's been in the build up to this one. Very cordial, very, very friendly. Quick handshake with Spencer Brown, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, and I think they have saved the chief support to be the last one that we will see. So Hutchinson, quick to the centre there, and I wonder will he have a little bit of a word with Boatti. Security are primed and ready just to prize them apart if they need to. Bit of a height difference.
Yeah,
interesting actually. Boatti's one of these people who is taller when you meet him than you think he's going to be. And Hutchinson with just a few little words for him. Boatti won't give any kind of reaction. I'm 100% sure about that. When it comes to the stare-off, when it comes to you staring deep into your opponent's eyes, they could go on for a really long time, and sometimes people don't want to break the stare. Other times one fighter's not really bothered and they'll break off. Sometimes you have to put a piece of paper between the two of them. I mean, how do you approach that? Do you just hold it for as long as you want to and then decide enough is enough, or do you not want to look away first?
Depends on how you want to think of it, really. Like me, I don't feel like this wins you any fights. I feel like
correct.
I've watched a lot of Floyd Mayweather's fights, and he never, like, maybe in a face-off, yeah, but once you get in the ring, he never actually used to look at the opponent in the eyes. He always used to look in the belt. But I don't know, I feel like this is a good time to get into someone's head, maybe. I remember there was one time I came up to Sheffield, Johnny, and I came with the England squad, and we went to the English gym, and you was training there, and you made one of the boys shame, but you was a lot of abuse, and you was basically trying to be like, in order for you to be a fighter, you need to do what you got to do and not listen to the external source. And I feel like, especially in this fight week, there's been a lot of trash talking, especially between these two.
Was that a Brendan Ingle trick, Johnny? Was it?
Yeah. He said the mind listen, he turned me from a zero, a kid that was completely scared of his own shadow, into a world champion. And as far as he's concerned, it's working on the mind, being able to concentrate on what you're good at, and not listening to the negatives and the positives. And that's the first thing Brendan did when you walked to the gym. He said, "Tell me about yourself for 2 minutes." Now, if I make you face the wall and start talking about yourself for 2 minutes, you probably do 20 seconds and start stuttering. And while he's doing that, he's talking to you. But in a way, he's kind of getting you to concentrate and think on your feet. Not remember, think on your feet. Remember what I said about Dubois? He's not capable of thinking in a fight. Brendan taught you to think on your feet, think in a fight. And so it starts from the very beginning.
Well, let's just move on to that one, because the next press conference, of course, will be the top of the bill. You're at heavyweight this week. Just have a look at Tyler Denny and Hamza Shiraz. Big height difference between those two. I don't think we're going to get too much reaction from either fighter. Everything between them, as it has been in other fights, has been very disciplined. But with AJ and Dubois, what have you made of each of them, just kind of watching them this week? Because an interesting thing for you at the moment, it's just to watch how fighters like Joshua in particular go about their business during fight week, but you'll have your eye on Dubois because he's the younger guy, the guy on the rise, kind of more in your position than Joshua is. How have you found it all?
To be fair, the whole kind of week I haven't really thought about it too much. I've just really been taken in as a fan. But obviously, like I said, I'm in the gym with Anthony Joshua, and I see how relaxed yet switched on he is, and like I can implement that in my game. And like honestly, I turned up to the gym yesterday, he's laughing, joking, but when you talk to him, you know that right when it's go time, it's going to be go time. And I feel like that's something I can implement in my game. And obviously with Dubois, I had a whole training camp with him for obviously when he was preparing for Usyk. Obviously I wasn't in his change room or anything, but like I picked up on a few things that he does as well, and I feel like I kind of got my opinion on what's going to happen on Saturday night, but I feel like it's a very, very good and intriguing matchup.
Who hits the hardest?
The thing is, when I sparred Anthony Joshua, I feel like I was obviously 16, and he don't really want to knock out a 16-year-old, innit? So obviously, do you get what I mean? Whereas with Dubois, I was kind of like a grown man. Who hits the hardest? I feel like AJ probably would hit harder, but Dubois, his jab is very, very annoying. It's so annoying, especially southpaw, the orthodox. It kind of like just stop. It's just in a weird position where it just stops you from throwing it. And his speed is very underrated as well, and he's got a good chin.
Who's the fastest?
Who's the fastest? I think AJ's more explosive. I think Dubois is stronger, but AJ's more powerful.
Okay, so I can just see Joshua Botti just milling around at the bottom of the steps to the stage. I think he's going to come up and join us before too long. It's an interesting point you make there, Moses, about learning the ability to kind of be constantly vigilant but also relaxed, because that's exactly what you have to be in the boxing ring, and that's always seemed to me to be something that would be pretty difficult to pull off. So Josh Botti joins us. I think kind of all eyes were on you and Willie Hutchinson for that press conference, to be honest. Everybody, if I was a betting man, I think I probably would have taken a reasonable amount of money on there being an incident, if there was one, between the pair of you two. But it was actually quite calm in the end.
He was very measured. That's why Willie was still trying to wind it up, but he was very measured.
But you know what it is, guys? We're 2 days away. There's no point doing anything now. When the incident first happened, it was 2 months out. But we're 2 days away. We're so close now, but I'm locked in. I'm looking forward to it. It's a big event. Again, a lot has been said, but it's now time to back it up.
I know one of your fight week rituals, I can't remember when you do it, whether it's weigh-in day or whether it's the day of the fight, but the barnet will get trimmed, the beard will come off.
Yeah, it's all coming off.
So when's that happening?
Friday night. My mum will be watching, so if I go on TV like this to fight, it's big trouble for me. Right now I'm in trouble, but on fight night it's bigger trouble.
So what are the next couple of days like? Well, did you have any set routines apart from that things you like to do, that you like to observe?
It's simple. Again, I've said it so many times. It's just meditating in the Bible, reading it. That's all I need right now. Right now the training's been done. There's nothing you're going to tell me that's going to boost me up more than what's written in the Bible. Different fighters, different things works for them, but for me this is what works. And that's that. Because that works, that's all I can give, and that's all I can say. I can't tell you, oh, I have all my friends around me, or I go to like a weird shop to do something. I can tell you the Bible is what I do between now and the fight.
I mean, is it the same passages, the same bits of the Bible that you would read?
Passages, but the thing is, sometimes it's the same one, but the understanding you have that I had from a scripture maybe 10 fights ago is different to what I read today. So the same scripture that I read is different every time. And there's one in my Instagram caption that everyone pulls me up and says, oh, I like that. Did you write that? And I'm like, I didn't write it. It's from the Bible. And it says, it is God who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. Everyone thinks about God as in the spirit. Yes, he's a spirit guy, but it's battle. I've had 18 fights and I can only give credit to the source.
How about you? Did you have anything you in particular wanted to do or needed to do in the build-up to a fight?
No.
And you were uncomfortable if you didn't do it?
No, not really. Well, there was one weird thing. I always made sure the lights were turned off in the hotel before I left. For some reason.
Lying.
Yeah, I swear I was weird. And the bed was made nicely, and it was just that. It was a strange thing, but no mess in the room. I've no idea. But I was going to ask you, actually, Judge, are you a person? I was a person that liked a lot of people around on fight week. Maybe fight day and the day before the fight, not necessarily talking about the fight as much, but just having people around me to maybe take my mind. Is that a bit of you as well, or?
No, I'm quite the opposite.
Okay.
When there's too much people, I don't really like it, especially when there's new people.
Okay.
I think when I started, I didn't mind, but now I only want instrumental people. People are not there just to make numbers. I want someone there that's bringing something to me, and that's only going to be from the Bible. So I like to be on my own a bit.
Okay, Josh, thanks for your time. Always good to see you. We'll let you go. We'll see you at the weigh-in tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I think we can now welcome up Josh's promoter, boxer, CEO, Ben Shalom. Ben, good to see you.
Yeah, very good.
I think we're not too far away from the second part of the press conference getting underway, so we haven't got too long, but let's just talk about the two fighters that you've got on this card. Joshua Botti against Willie Hutchinson. Not a fight, I think it's fair to say, that any of us would have really imagined a year ago. The mix at light heavy seemed quite set on the British side, and then all of a sudden there's a newcomer in the mix. It's a very interesting fight, this.
When we signed Josh Boatti, we had loads of names in the contract. Josh is so meticulous, he prepares for everything. Honestly, everything. Willie wasn't even in there. So credit to him that he's got to this position. Great performance last time out. Interim world title. But this is the moment for Josh. This is a big statement. He's had that stop-start career. He's had a big win against Dan Aziz this year. I just feel like I appreciate Willie talks the talk. I appreciate how confident he is. I appreciate how good he is in the gym and his amateur record. And everyone talks so well of him. But I believe Boatti is going to make a big, big statement on Saturday.
People talk about Josh's reaction at the head-to-head. And I liked some of the things that you were saying about that. And you said that this is Joshua Boatti. This is the best version. He's fired up. This is the best version of Joshua Boatti.
I've been trying since he signed to rile him up, and I do whatever we did. He's such a gentleman that he's so relaxed. It's so hard to get him going. I thank Willie. He's done it. He has done what I wanted to see. He's given the fans the Josh that I know, and now we're going to see a great performance. I really believe it.
And just a quick one on Tyler Denny. What a story. You know, you brought him through to be a European champion. The next day after defending against Felix Cacace, he gets this call. Hamza Shiraz is a really good fighter. He's done everything right, but no one's invincible.
I remember when he won the European title, we felt like we climbed Mount Everest. This was a kid that was an away fighter it was going nowhere. So to then beat Felix Gash and then to get this opportunity, it's incredible. He texted me 3 days ago, and I've said it before. He said, Ben, I know you don't believe me. I know no one believes me, but I promise you I'm going to win on Saturday night. That's how much confidence he's coming in on Saturday. He's had the perfect preparation, the perfect fights, tall fighters, rangy fighters, Brad Ray, River Wilson, bent twice. He's ready for this, and we're going to see the very best Tyler Denny on Saturday night, and whether Hamza Shiraz has enough, we'll see.
Okay, great. Ben, good to see you as always.
See you. Cheers.
Thanks, enjoy Ben. The next couple of days.
See you.
So Johnny Nelson is going to come back in and join us. And Moses, I'll just bring you in on that conversation we were having before those two came up in terms of kind of fight day rituals and preparations. I mean, it's early on for you, but how are you with all of that? Any superstitions, anything in particular?
Nah, not really. I guess my ritual was training hard. I never really had like. Maybe when I was in the European Championship as an amateur, I had 4 fights in 1 week, and the first fight I went and I stopped the kid in the first round, and then like I don't know why, I just thought let me wear the same boxers for the second fight. I went and I stopped him in the first round again.
Did you wash them?
Say that again?
Did you wash them?
Didn't wash them.
No.
Didn't wash them. No, didn't wash them. No.
Nasty.
And then I was like, you know what? Let me see if this will work for the third fight. I went in, I stopped him again in the first round. And then I was like, listen, I've come 3 fights now.
Oh, no.
I might as well wear it on the last day. It wasn't like I would wear it the whole day. I'd literally put them on box, and then I used to hang them up on the window just to let it get some fresh air, but I don't really know.
Listen, 4 days wear, 1 way inside out, 2 days inside out.
Sweating as well, I mean, the sweat and everything.
No, listen, I got 4 knockouts in 1 week, to get what I mean? First round as well, so I don't know.
You know, in our gym, Junior Whitty, his nickname was Stinky, right? Because he'd take his training gear off after he's trained and put it on the radiator and put it on the next day, so his nickname was Stinky. You're getting yourself a nickname, man.
No. Listen, I used to put like a kilo of Hugo Boss after shave when it doesn't smell too bad.
No, in his defence, I watched that competition. I watched those fights. They were all first round knockouts, and some of them were quite quick. So it's not like he was. You know,
you
still have them.
Nah, do you know what? No, because they're Under Armour in it. So, apart from that, I've never really had no ritual, nothing, none of that.
I'm just always interested in how people just pass that time, basically, because you go to the venue in the evening. It's always occurred to me that it could be a long day, and it's important. And he mentioned it before. Josh came up. That ability to be able to, in the ring, be constantly vigilant but also loose, to be on point but relaxed, because if you're not, then your tank just empties really, really quickly. I mean, if you feel like you've got to grips with that early, then that's a brilliant thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the big man certainly has that. He boxes with a sense of fluidity, not like your typical heavyweight. He's faster hands than any other heavyweight that I've seen recently. He's better head movement, and some guys are a bit, I suppose, a bit stiff, some of the heavyweights, but I think Big Moses isn't your typical heavyweight.
Let's just have a quick chat about the impact of Riyadh season on the heavyweight division, because we've got a heavyweight fight top of the card here. We had Fury against Usyk, we've had Joseph Parker against Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang. It hasn't gone well for Deontay Wilder, but Parker and Zhang have really produced some big performances. It's been great for Daniel Dubois, boxing out in Saudi Arabia twice. For Anthony Joshua, of course, it's been fantastic, because they're making the really big fights, but it's not like they're making one a year. You know, you can box 2-3 times in a year on Riyadh season if you keep winning, which is just great for the division.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fights that people were talking about for years and years are now suddenly being talked about, and with a real sense that these are actually going to happen, and that's obviously down to the backing of the Saudis, and boxing's in a really, really healthy place right now. We're up here sharing Johnny's Sky pundit, I'm TNT, you're Sky, we had the Zone guy. It's just, this is not normal, but it's good, and it's good for our sport.
No, it absolutely is. Just the spirit of collaboration in general, and it shows what can be achieved, and we all know that the resources that are behind it are a big, big part of that. But the more people get used to kind of dealing with each other and working with each other, the more normal it becomes, the better chance there is that it'll continue.
basically you've got a responsible adult that's got everybody's heads together, crack their heads together and say, come on, what are you doing? The only people that suffer if you don't work together is you and the fans. So this, I like this. I think the fans benefit, we all benefit, and at the end of the day, boxing benefits, the fighters benefit. I'm an ex-fighter. I love hearing about fighters getting paid well. I love hearing fighters succeed. I love stories like Tyler Denny, living in a one-bedroom flat, winning the European title, now he's boxing on something like this. This is life-changing money for him. That's what boxing's supposed to be about, because it's the only sport, Brennan always said it, where you can legally get killed. It's the only sport where when you're done, everybody's forgotten and you've moved on to the next one. So I love it when the boxers benefit. So everybody working together, that's the most important thing to me. And so the vision, ridiculously spot on, and it's common sense.
I can confirm Anthony Joshua has arrived. Daniel Dubois has been here for a little while, and it's quite interesting, that dynamic during the week, because at the face-off on the Monday, Dubois was in position and Joshua kind of made him wait. And then yesterday, Joshua was on last at the open workouts. At the grand arrivals, Joshua took his time. I think when they're in this kind of situation where you're going at the same time, basically, that's what Joshua's going to try and do. He's going to try and make Dubois wait for him.
I think that AJ is the type of person, and Moses will probably be able to talk about this better than I will, but I get the sense that he's the type of person that thinks about everything he does, doesn't make rash decisions. Everything's a thought process, and it's already been pre-planned before he actually does it. So I think that he's playing games. That's what he's doing that's why he's late today, that's why he's going on last, and I think that's just little things to try and irk and, I suppose, almost undermine your opponent.
I mean, you used to enjoy that side of it, didn't you? You were talking about it earlier. You used to relish the opportunity to kind of score a few little points over your opponents in fight. Well, you felt that it mattered.
Yeah, we did it in our gym. It was mind games. You rattle the body, you rattle the brain, you stampolize the body, you get one up. And if you can get your opponent to be angry or disrespect you or whatever, then you've got them, because they're deviating away from the game plan. So that is more as important. I think Angelo Dundee once said, no, it's Customado once said, character is as important as talent. And so character of a fight, if you've got two fighters of the same ability, the one with the character will always come out on top, because he knows he's got something special about him. Look at people like Ali, beat most fighters before they got in the ring. Mike Tyson beat most fighters before they got in the ring. So it's just a case of what mask you're going to wear. Do you want to play the passive game and just hang about and make them wait for you? You want to be in the face, being aggressive, or you want to do a willy and try and wind somebody up? It's just, boxing is not just about boxing. There are many amazing fighters out there that can't sell a ticket, and you'll never know who they are. So you've got to be smart and think yourself as a business.
So Daniel Dubois backstage, looking very, very smart. Josh Warrington, the only one in the undercard press conference who went for the suit and tie. I love a suit and tie. I think the press conference, I think it sends a good message out to really dispense with the tracksuit, but I'm old school. So Moses, just go back to Riyadh season in general. I mean, the timing of this whole thing, this whole revolution for you has been absolutely amazing, hasn't it? Because you were a few fights into a pro career, then all of a sudden there's this big vehicle which you can get on, and your promoter is right in on the ground floor. I mean, it could hardly be better.
It's phenomenal, really. Like, I went to watch the Olympics the other day, last month or a couple months ago, and I was thinking, like, Olympics is nice. Did I make the right decision? And then, I look back and Saudi and even training with Tyson, I was like, do you know what am I talking about? Like, the experience that I've had, I can't even ask for nothing. But it's not even with the Riyadh season, even the undercards that I've been on, Better BF Yard, and even all them fights like that. I'm truly blessed to be in a position that I'm in, and I always want to strive for more. And I'm taking it all in, watching all these fighters perform Saturday night. I know I'm going to sit there having goosebumps, and I'll be like, I can't wait till it's my time. But yeah, no, it's been huge. It's even Saudi Arabia. I've visited there 5-6 times. I've been there more times than I've been back home. So you can say that Saudi Arabia is my second home now. But I do enjoy it. I do literally enjoy the events they put on and everything. It's been phenomenal.
And also, Johnny, in terms of the kind of landscape of the heavyweight division, you look at the top fighters. Usyk's 37, I think. Fury's a couple of years younger. Anthony Joshua's 35 soon in mid-October. Joseph Parker in his 30s. Zhilei Zhang is 40. Wilder is pretty much 40, and I think as a 40s, he's on his way out, I would say. So before too long, you know, that next cohort is coming through, isn't it?
Yeah. That's heavyweights. The best you get of heavyweights at that area, that age, in their 30s upwards. That's where you get the best out of the heavyweight. And it's the only way where the older they get, the better they get up to a certain point. Then the young boys coming through, the young guns coming through, they're the ones that you can try and pick out. They're the ones that you'll know this hype about. They're the ones that you think, you know what, keep an eye on him. And it's great to be able to follow the stories, follow the journey of these fighters coming through. In years to come, we might replay this. And this young man over here talking about things he doesn't know what he'll know then. You know, he'll look back at himself right now thinking, wow, I was so green then, but I learned and did it the right way. Success breeds success. If you're in the gym seeing success and you understand, you think to yourself, well, that'll work for me, that won't work for me. This is how you build up your character. This is how you build your path to get to where you want to be. But when you know somebody that's successful, it then becomes a reality. So you think, I can do that because I know someone that's doing exactly the same as me. So why shouldn't it be? I was in a gym full of champions and I was fail. I'm thinking, why? What's the difference between them and me? So then I realized it was possible because I know people that are doing it. I speak to people that are doing it. So as I said, success breeds success, and the experiences he's had, the people he's working with, you can't buy, borrow, pretend that to get that experience.
Daniel Dubois, we just saw still patiently waiting backstage. The rumour I'm hearing is that Anthony Joshua currently is refusing to get out of his car. I don't know if that's 100% true, but the entertaining thing about that image is that there will be somebody, some poor person, probably a stage manager, a floor manager from DAZN, who will be told that it's his or her job to go and get him to leave his car. And that's, you know, that's not a job anybody would want. That's easier said than done. But just to go back to what we were talking about, Carl, this current crop who have been very successful, they've delivered huge fights. They don't have long left, do they? I think it's fair to say that. They give varying forecasts on how long they'll stay in. Fury said sometimes he wants to box until he's 40. Anthony said the same thing, but this is a hard sport.
Hard sport, and if they're all going to be fighting each other, there's Anthony Joshua and I, but if they're all going to be fighting each other like they are, they're hard fights as well, and they can have an effect on how long you stay in the game for. But I don't even, 40's not even that old for a heavyweight these days. You know, there's been, you look at what Bernard Hopkins done, he wasn't a heavyweight. George Foreman done it before him, he was a heavyweight. So I think the guys that you're talking about are in their prime years right now.
Okay, let's hand over to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, in approximately 52 hours, two of the very best, hardest-hitting heavyweights in the world today will step into the ring at the legendary Wembley Stadium, London, England, in front of 96,000 fans, a record crowd for boxing at that stadium. And it's Riyadh Season Card Wembley Edition, an event for boxing fans around the world. All brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GEA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing. Sponsorship provided by Visit Saudi, Suleiman Al Habib Hospital, Saudi Airlines, Red Sea Global, Diriyah, and Middle Beast in partnership with Gold Star Promotions and Sella. Ladies and gentlemen, special thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Turki Al Sheikh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final press conference for Saturday night's main event. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World. Let's meet the promoters and the fighters at this time. for Matchroom Boxing, Mr. Eddie Hearn. And please welcome, for Queensberry Promotions, Mr. Frank Warren. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the fighters. From London, England, 23 fights as a professional, 21 victories, 20 KOs. That's a 90% KO to victory ratio. He's the former WBA heavyweight world champion and the current reigning and defending IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois. And his opponent, also from London, England, an Olympic gold medal champion, 31 fights as a professional, 28 victories, 25 of those 28 victories by KO, the two-time heavyweight champion of the world, AJ Anthony Joshua. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn this press conference over to our host, Mr. Ade Oladipo.
Thank you very much, Michael. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the very beautiful, historic, and iconic London Guildhall. Welcome to another huge, monumental event, and welcome to Riyadh Season Wembley edition. Look, I've been very fortunate to have attended all the Riyadh Season events, from our very first one, Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, to our most recent event in LA, Terence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov. And all of the events have exceeded our expectations. And all the events have got bigger and bigger. Not just fight night, that's not what Riyadh Season is about, but fight week. More excitement, more events, more engagement, and most importantly, more eyeballs on the sport that we love, boxing. What Riyadh Season has done for fighters is, for some, look, it's given them maybe opportunities that they weren't going to get. For some, it's given them the spotlight that they craved. And for two fighters here in our main event, it was an opportunity to rebuild and remind people as to how good and dangerous they can be. Daniel Dubois entered Riyadh Season off the back of a defeat to Alexander Usyk. 2 fights and 2 wins later against Jarrell Miller and Filip Hrgovic, he's now rebuilt. He's one of the best fighters in the world, and he's the current IBF heavyweight champion. Anthony Joshua entered Riyadh Season, and it was Otto Wallin, a stern test on paper, that he came through with flying colours. And then it was Francis Ngannou, a man who had previously caused Tyson Fury so much problems. Anthony destroyed him in a couple of rounds. So here we are, 2 fighters in arguably the form of their lives that will compete in front of 96,000 spectators at the National Stadium. Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois for the IBF heavyweight title in front of the best fight fans in the world, the British fight fans. Now, look, normally, I'm going to break protocol a little bit here. Normally, you go to the promoters, and I will get to them, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, but I want to go to the fighters first. Daniel, I want to come to you. You are the champion, and I want you to clear something up for us, Daniel. The rumours are circling. Where is your trainer, Don Charles? Is there an issue? Is it a case of Don is just sick and not here? What's happened? We haven't seen Don all week.
Listen, as long as they're in my corner on fight night, I'm alright.
But everything is okay?
Yeah, everything's good, you know.
Okay, that's good to hear. Let's move on from that and let's put that rumour to bed. Alright, let's start with you, Daniel, again. You are the current IBF heavyweight champion. You can see that the camera is here. This is a fight of extreme magnitude, right? They're saying this is the biggest British fight card we've ever seen. You headline it. How are you feeling? How's preparation gone?
Everything's gone well. Training camp's gone brilliant. I'm ready to fight. Let's go.
That you are, I know. You've wanted this fight against AJ for a while, not just after the Hrgovic fight, before that. You've called him the king. You said you're the king slayer. Why have you wanted this fight against Anthony Joshua so badly?
Well, it's a resurrection story of my career, and you know I'm just on a roll right now. So, you know, I just want the biggest challenges and make a name for myself and create history.
You've had some ups and downs, like every fighter, every top fighter. The ups recently have been very, very good. Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic. When did it switch, Daniel? When did you realize that you are one of the best heavyweights in the world? When did it click that you can compete at the top table?
No, I've always known that. You know, I haven't got too much to say right now. I'm just ready to go on Saturdays. It's a great show, and I can't wait to go.
Yeah, but let's move on. I'm going to come back to you, Daniel, though you are going to answer a few more questions, hopefully. AJ, here we go again, right? You've been there, you've done it, you've seen it all. You've been in big events. You've been in big events since you turned pro. What's it like to be at another big event, Riyadh season at Wembley, home of what I think was your biggest success against Vladimir Klitschko?
What a blessing. Thanks for everyone coming today, but it's a blessing to be back again, to be able to perform, prove to myself, prove to my team that I've listened to the instructions in training camp, and we're ready to rock and roll. And I'm in supreme condition, both physically and also mentally. So yeah, it's good to be back, and I've been watching some of the old fights as well, just adding some fuel to the fire, ready to rumble, reminding myself what I can do and what I'm capable of.
We all know exactly what you can do. Daniel Dubois is a name that maybe many thought wouldn't have been your opponent a few months ago. What type of challenge do you expect Daniel Dubois to bring to you on Saturday night?
We'll find out. We've already got a couple of hours left, so to everyone that's going to be there, you'll enjoy it, but we'll find out. I can't say. I'm not Daniel. All I could do is focus on myself.
Indeed. Again, we will go back to the fighters, but I did want to speak to you first and foremost. Eddie, let's speak to your charge before we talk about Anthony Joshua. Let's talk about Riyadh season, Wembley edition. I spoke to yourself and Frank, and I was like, look, these Riyadh season events in Riyadh are fantastic. The one in LA was fantastic as well. But we need to get an event in London. We need to get an event to the National Stadium. We're only a couple of days away. What does it mean to have such a big event at Wembley?
Oh yeah, well, good evening everyone. And firstly, thank you, of course, to the Crown Prince and His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh for the vision, really. I think everybody felt that Riyadh season would be in Riyadh. And it's been just under a year now since we began boxing in Riyadh season, and the change that we've seen in the sport already has been quite phenomenal. But we didn't expect to see events in Los Angeles, to see events in London, and this one's very special. You know, it's the record. It's 96,000, where I think at a time when British boxing needs a shot in the arm, and it's a shot in the arm that's been provided time and time again by this man to my right. You know, I know he's not a fan of plaudits, but you have to give him to him, because we're all very proud of the way he's carried himself since the Olympic gold medal to changing the sport in this country. Every fighter in the country today has benefited off the rise, the performances, and most importantly, the behaviour of Anthony Joshua. He's been a role model. He's inspired boxing from the top to the bottom level of the grassroots of the game. And personally, on Saturday, I can't wait. You know, I think His Excellency is going to look around and see one of the greatest nights British boxing has ever seen. Just a phenomenal undercard. And as this fight draws closer, people start to realise what a great fight this is. Two dangerous British heavyweights fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship. And we look back to the nights of Klitschko and Povetkin. AJ's done it all before, but Saturday will be particularly special. Three-time World Heavyweight Champion, and a list that's so thin: Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis. And again, I know he's focusing on the performance, but legacy awaits on Saturday night for the most thrilling night. And thanks to all the promoters and broadcasters and Queensbury and team, Spencer Brown, Gold Star, of course the Matchroom team, 258. It's been a brilliant collaboration with Riyadh Season, who will break records on Saturday night and give us one of the great sporting moments. Proud of Anthony Joshua, a full believer in exactly where he's at. Never seen him so calm, never seen him so calculated, never seen him so confident. I believe with all my heart, three-time World Heavyweight Champion on Saturday, and do not miss it. It's going to be a very special night.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Frank, same question to yourself. Obviously, look, you've had Daniel Dubois since the beginning, very much like Eddie's had Anthony since the beginning. You've believed in your man, even with the ups and downs. What a moment for him on Saturday to headline, as we've been hearing, in front of 96,000 people.
It is. First of all, again, I'd like to thank His Excellency and the team who made this happen. This is an iconic moment for British boxing. There's no doubt about it. It's in an iconic building. The last few press conferences we've had, they've also been in iconic venues. But this is going to be something special. Two massive big punchers, two really good boxers, both of them on a roll, both of them winning fighters. They both had their ups and downs, not just Daniel. Both of them had their ups and downs. And so we are definitely going to see something special. And for me, there's nothing better than two Brits in the ring, in a competitive fight, in a big fight, to get atmosphere, 96,000 people, sold out. It is going to be something special. And Daniel, I do believe, is going to show what he's all about. I believed in him from day one, and he's come through everything. Trials and tribulations, injuries, lots of different things happening behind the scenes, and he's now sitting here with his belt, and he's not letting it go. He's here to keep that belt, to confirm that he is the IBF champion against a very, very good fighter in AJ, who's been brilliant for British boxing, British sport, a man whose record's been impeccable as an amateur, got robbed as a amateur world champion, won the gold medal, two-time world champion. But then we've got the new kid on the block. And this new kid on the block can fight. He can punch. He's as big a puncher, if not a bigger puncher, than AJ. He can jab, same as AJ, and he's got mobility. He's fast, and he's a good finisher. So one thing's for sure, do not blink in this fight. Do not blink, because from the first bell to the last, it's going to be something extra special. I believe this heavyweight fight could be the Britain's Hagler Hearns. That's how exciting it's going to be.
Daniel, I want to come back to you. I know you said no more questions, but I will try and force a few more questions from you, Daniel. You are now a champion, right? I mean, it's the dream from a kid to where you are now. You've got a new IBF belt in front of you. How's the confidence levels gone up since you've become champion?
The world title, I need to retain it and hold on to it. So, yeah, it's a great thing to have, but, I need to legitimize myself by winning this fight. So, I'm ready to go to war and ready for a fight.
Do you expect to knock out Anthony Joshua?
By any means necessary. Knockout, whatever way it comes.
Points, knockout, whatever way it comes, you're ready for it?
For sure.
AJ? Not been knocked out before? Yeah. A lot of people have said they can knock you out. Francis Ngannou mentioned it before when we did the face-off. Other fighters have said it as well. When you hear those words, is it almost just a case of, okay, you have to do what you need to do as well to get the victory?
Definitely. I showed Daniel and his whole team the respect they deserve during training camp, and that's going to put me in good stead on Saturday. So yeah, I'm tough. So is he. As Frank said, we've got all similarities. So may the best man win, really. And good luck to him. Good luck to his team. Thank you to my team for their efforts as well. Yeah, British boxing. One thing when I first started boxing, I said I want to bring the heavyweight division back alive in the UK, and I think we've done that. So well done to everyone here as well.
You guys are being very respectful now, which is nice to see. It is a gentleman's sport. I did the face-off for both of you about a month ago, and it wasn't very nice towards the end of that face-off. I had to move back, and everyone accused me of ducking away from it. I wasn't. But you accused him of being disrespectful then.
Yeah.
What happened for those that maybe didn't get that clip? Why was he disrespectful?
It wasn't disrespectful, it was just a phrase I used, but he said, let's go now. And I clicked for a minute. I said, what does he mean by that? And then he repeated it again. And I just feel like anyone in here, if I was...
Boxing, this is what happens. This is boxing. These things happen. So, we're fighting Saturday. Let's go.
So as I was saying, at the press conference, I just feel like you should never let anyone take an inch, because they'll end up taking a mile. You know what I mean, Dan? Sorry? That's it.
He said, never take an inch, never let anyone take an inch, because they'll take a mile.
Dan, I've spoken to you all week, and all week it's been smiles. I sense that the switch is now on, because you're a few days away from going to war with Anthony Joshua. Has that switch turned? Because look, we spoke yesterday and you're all smiling. We spoke the day before and it was all smiles as well. It's a very different Daniel Dubois now.
No, I've been preparing for this for months, weeks, and you know, it's been spoken about from the start of my career. So as a pro, so you know, here we are now. I'm ready for it. I feel good. I'm ready.
Okay, as I cleared up the Don Charles thing right at the beginning, I do want to clear up one more thing. And forgive me, both of you, for doing this, but I do need to clear it up because a lot of people want to know about it as well. This spar that happened several years ago. Now, you, Frank, said in a recent documentary that you heard about the spar and you signed him basically because of that spar as well. Can we clear that up now? Obviously, we know you guys are going to fight for the real thing on Saturday, but can we clear up this sparring story, these sparring rumours? AJ?
You cracked me with a great shot, and it's my chance to get him back on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it.
There you go,
Well, we sparred hundreds of rounds, didn't it?
You cracked him, Daniel. So you know you can hurt him.
It's sparring. Now we're fighting. It's different, you know.
Think it's different?
Ready to go. Move on now. We can move on now.
Oh.
Move on.
Okay. No tables flying, anything. Let's just keep this one very, very peaceful. Daniel, how do you win? Tell me how it works.
I ain't predicting nothing. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to fight.
As expected. Anthony Joshua, how do you win on Saturday?
How do I win on Saturday? Can happen in a variety of ways, various ways, but I'm not dependent on punch power, you know. You know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. But I've got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
Eddie mentioned that you can be one of those, you know, rare fighters that are a three-time heavyweight world champion. Does that matter to you at this stage of your career, or is it big fights?
Nah, I'll tell you, all the accolades and stuff come later, because I always say, it's crazy, you go back to your house on Sunday morning, have the same breakfast, put your clothes in the same laundry basket, nothing really changes, go to the same local gym. So for me, it's just, I just want to compete. I'm glad I've got some of the best challengers in front of me to compete with during my career. Brings the best out of me, so yeah, that's all it is really. I'm a competitive person, and I've got a competition that I need to attend to on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it.
Daniel, final one, don't get upset with me, I'm going to ask you one more. You're walking out in front of 96,000, you are a heavyweight world champion. A lot of people think you've got a good chance here. What's that feeling going to be like when you take that ring walk?
Like I've taken it many times before, just this time it's on the biggest stage, so you know, the energy's going to be higher.
And AJ, you've done that walk before. Again, I said, the Vladimir Klitschko fight I thought was your best performance, an iconic performance. You take that same walk again, what's that feeling going to be like for you?
The feeling?
The feeling.
Sorry?
The feeling, what's that feeling going to be like for you?
Be the same for all of us, you know. Honestly, all of us, many greats have walked it before. All of the undercard are going to walk it, I'm going to walk it. I'm going to feel just like any of them. But when I step into that ring, that's when I switch on and I'm ready. So the ring walk I'm not really interested in. That's just getting to the location to do my job. But once I'm in the ring, I'll be ready, 110%.
And final one to the promoters, Eddie and Frank, you've been there, both of you, you've done quite a lot in the sport. You've been at Wembley before and you've held big events. You've been at Wembley before and you've held big events. What's it going to mean to both of you to take that walk with your fighters to that ring for what is the biggest British fight card we've ever seen?
Well, listen, I'll be one of the lucky 96,000 with a great seat. But all that matters is this man to the right. The journey so far, this is his fourth fight at Wembley. Going back to the Matt Legg fight where, you know, even the Vladimir Klitschko fight, he was just a young man starting out with a huge heart and brute force. Now, I believe he's the best heavyweight in the world with every fundamental you need, and he's developed into a great fighter. Shout out Ben Davison, Barry, the team, done an amazing job. And this is what it's all about. This is what high-level sport is all about. You know, when he boxed Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley, people still say to me that was the greatest sporting event I've ever witnessed. I've been to Ryder Cups, Centre Court or Wimbledon. Nothing touched it. This is the beauty of big-time boxing you will see unfold at the National Stadium on Saturday night. It's going to be an amazing night, and history shall be made for this man.
And Frank, final one to you. You've had some incredible nights as a boxing promoter. This probably will be one of your biggest, if not your biggest, if Daniel Dubois can beat Anthony Joshua in front of 96,000 at Wembley?
Without a doubt. You know, on Saturday night, I genuinely believe that Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois are going to provide something that's going to be extra special, not just in boxing, in sport. And I believe that Daniel Dubois will cement his legacy in boxing.
We'll find out on Saturday. Is it going to be Ann Still or is it going to be Ann the New? Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua, IBF heavyweight champion. Both fighters are going to pose for photos and do a face-off.
So interesting that between the pair of them. Daniel Dubois was how he has been most of the week. He was on good form. He was kind of bouncy. There was an effervescence about him. He's certainly not cutting any kind of a nervous, shy or awkward figure. The only time we've really seen that, I thought, was when he was just waiting for the face-off on Monday. But since then, he's been on good form. And with the promoters as well, you get the feeling that there's so much on the line for the pair of them that, given how experienced they are, they're not going to indulge in any kind of tomfoolery. They know that it's not really going to make too much of a difference at this stage, because what's so fascinating about heavyweight boxing, Carl, is that the stakes when two fighters enter the ring at any weight are always really high, but at heavyweights it's even higher because that level of jeopardy just is greater than it is in probably any other sporting event in the world. And everybody involved in this knows it. They all know what could happen. They're all convinced their man's going to win. Joshua's convinced he's going to win. Dubois convinced he's going to win. But deep down, they know that the bell goes and all bets are off.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you're saying there. I think that both guys look to be extremely confident. They're backing themselves to win the fight. Interesting that he didn't say too much, Daniel, about the Don Charles rumours that we're hearing. We're all hoping it's just a bit of an illness and he's doing the sensible thing and staying away from his fighter, but he didn't really delve into it too much. Maybe that's him playing some sort of mind games on AJ and just trying to make people unaware of actually what's going on. But both guys seem really confident. AJ's a great speaker, isn't he? Like, he speaks so well, and people listen to him. But like you said, there's so much jeopardy in this fight.
Okay, so Anthony Joshua there with Ariel Helwani. Unfortunately, we won't be able to bring you that, but maybe we'll get one of the main event fighters up here. But to be honest with you, and this is no disrespect to Ariel Helwani, who's very good at his job, I doubt that he's all of a sudden going to say something now that we haven't already heard this week, is he, Johnny?
No, he's not. Carl got it spot on right. AJ's he's a seasoned pro at this. He knows to say just enough but not too much. Contain himself, not get dragged into the hype of what could have been. I could see Daniel was trying to be sharp. He's just not. He's not a smart ass. He's not that guy. He can only reply, but he's just trying to create something in himself that is not there. Keep it simple. Keep it plain. Just get on with it. And I think AJ kind of looked at him and thought, I'm not even playing with you. I'm not even going to get into it with you because I'm wasting my time here. Let's get on with the fight. That's what both fighters want to do.
We'll get into this tomorrow in mind-boggling detail when it comes to their weights. But, of course, they don't have a weight to make. But by the look of them this week, you wouldn't expect them to be much different from where they've weighed in up their last couple of fights because they're in good form. What they've been doing has been working, so why would they change it?
I think both fighters probably know their optimal weight to box at and what they best perform at. What I thought was really interesting, I think that Daniel Dubois actually looked leaner than I've seen him recently. So maybe he'll come in a little bit later. But I imagine that's all part of the plan. It's easy for a heavyweight, isn't it, this game? When you've obviously got the jeopardy of being knocked out, but I'm telling you, making weight is the first battle that every fighter that has had to do it talks about. Horrible thing to do.
Well, the undercard fighters have got that final bit of pain to go through tonight and tomorrow morning to get those final few pounds off. Johnny, it's a game we play during fight week normally, and we haven't really done it this week, to be honest, is to kind of look at a human and feel like we can tell, you know, to kind of the nearest 5 pounds how much they're weighing. It's crazy stuff, really. But they just both look well, don't they? They both look on good form. If they're carrying an injury, then we wouldn't know, but there's certainly been no kind of anxiety from them at any point, even in unguarded moments.
Well, unfortunately, if it is an injury, they've got to keep it to themselves, because, and even after the fight, you can't even say this was wrong or that was wrong, because therefore it sounds like you can't take defeat. When it comes to the weighing, I reckon AJ will come about 17.3, 17.4. Physically, I think he's looking at speed and power. Down to Dubois, again, it doesn't look massive. I think these guys, there won't be much in it. But I really don't believe the weight is going to make that much of a difference. I suppose if AJ came in really heavy and flat-footed, that's a bad move. But I don't think the weight with these guys is the issue. I think it's tactics, how they play the fight. Will it be early? Will it be late? Danny Dubois says by any means necessary, which means he's willing to go through hellfire for this fight. And if he is, he's going to get hit. And if he can stay there after being hit and think, I'm going to drag you into fire, then that's going to make the fight really, really interesting.
Okay, let's try and get into some finer detail. I'll put you both on the spot a bit here. It's not really fair, to be honest, but when the bell goes in those very early exchanges, best guess, what do you think we'll see?
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
I know it's a really intriguing fight, and the only thing I mean, you can't guarantee anything in this sport, but I would be very, very surprised if we see round 7. I do think the longer the fight goes on, the more chance Daniel has, but can you see anything but a knockout?
You know what? Nothing but a knockout. I don't see it going past the first round, number 1. Number 2, I think both fighters get into the middle of the ring. Then AJ's very fast. He's got like a fishing hook kind of straight right hand when he lands it in, and he wants to find the timing, find the distance. Now, if Daniel lets him find that timing, which I think he will do, he'll be flat-footed trying to slip and get him popped. The problem is, if AJ gets that shot in and then starts to get excited, thinking, oh, I've got another one here, I've got another one. And if Daniel's still there, that's when it'll get interesting, that's when it'll get dangerous. I'd be so surprised if he went past 4 or 5 rounds. I'd be so surprised.
The referee tomorrow for the main event is Marcus McDonnell, by the way. Marcus McDonnell refereed Anthony Joshua's fight against Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin wasn't too happy with the way that he handled it on that occasion, but Marcus, one of the best we've got under the British Boxing Board of Control, has stayed largely controversy-free, I think it's fair to say, throughout his career. So a very experienced fighter, referee rather, in charge of that main event. Well, gentlemen, thanks very much for your company. Thanks to everybody else who has joined us. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here live from the Guildhall. A different kind of a setting from a press conference. Join us again for the weigh-in tomorrow, which will start, first fighters on the scales, I believe, at 6 p.m.